wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
We've got a Mariners roster move this morning. Ty France is back with the team after being placed on the 10-day IL to nurse a right heel fracture. In a corresponding move, Sebi Zavala has been designated for assignment. Phase 1 of All-Star voting hasn't concluded yet, but Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper are leading vote-getters in the AL and NL respectively. No Mariners in the top 5 of vote-getters at any position. The Mariners are back on the road, opening a series against the Cleveland Guardians. It's Bryce Miller against Tristan McKenzie. First pitch at 3:40 p.m., pregame show at 2:30.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Bump, we are smart, analytical people, you and I. We can be a bit pessimistic, and so we are not going to be idiots and buy into the hype, okay? But here's why the Mariners can win a World Series, and I want you to listen to me carefully. The Mariners can win a World Series, says Jeff Passan.
Yes, that's how good their pitching is. I believe in the pitching, and I believe in October, even though you're facing the teams that have the best lineups in the world, that the Mariners pitching can neutralize that. But just because they can, Brock, doesn't mean that they should go with this 40-man roster. It is a flawed group. There are issues, and I really worry about the strikeouts in October. I really worry about that hindering their offense and putting just immense amounts of pressure on their pitchers to throw zeros up.
You can win a World Series with this roster. It doesn't mean you should.
He says, yeah, you can. You know, you get into the offs, you do your thing, you get hot. Yeah, it's very possible to win with this roster the way it is, but let's not rely on it. The reason why you shouldn't is because they've just been so inconsistent offensively. So the first thing I did was look at just 2 of the biggest teams in the game right now, the Dodgers and the Yankees. Mookie just went down, right? Still got Shohei. Still got Freeman. Teoscar, throw him in there. My man's been balling this year. You still got Will Smith. You look at the Yankees. Say something were to happen to somebody. You still got Soto. Say he's out. You still got Judge. You still got Rizzo. You still got Volpe. 2.5 WAR. So the reason why he says that is because you're already not getting a lot of production offensively. And if someone were to go down in that offense, say a Julio were to go down, or even a Cal or a Ty, you don't have the backup that some of these other teams have when it comes to firepower on offense. And you're going to have to win a close game. I heard Brock say a stat the other day. They're like 35-4 or something in games where they allow or they score like 4 runs or more or something like that. Mm-hmm. You're still going to have to score 4 runs. So, yeah, I agree with passing. There is a path, there is a way with the way this team is constructed right now to get into the World Series, but you're not looking at that squad and say, yeah, we straight. You're not looking at the way the Yankees do, the way the Dodgers do, and you probably won't. Not to the level of their confidence in their squad. So you got to go ahead and make something happen, man. But most definitely, it's all about those arms in the playoffs, but you still got to score runs.
I did love the way that he phrased it, though, because it still gives you hope. And when I mentioned us being a little analytical, and I don't know that we're pessimistic, I just think that we try to be realistic. And both you and I watch other games. So if you are someone who catches Yankees games or who's watching the Guardians or who pays attention to the Orioles, you look at Seattle and you go, you need a couple more steps here. Like, it's really fun to look around and go, oh, you have one of the best starting rotations in baseball. So do the Yanks. So you gotta kind of be honest. Right. You gotta be honest about what else you got and what else you need. And let's be real. They need more offense. Heck, they need another bullpen arm. It's not necessarily what we're going to be talking about here, but they need more. What might that be for you?
Look, it's simple stat. We're just going off of batting average, right? Just off of batting average alone. All right, you look at just the top 10 players in the game when it comes to batting average. My guy, Bobby Witt, love to watch him play. Leading the league at 327. You got Soto in the mix at 315. Shohei at 314. You got Alec over there with Philly at 307. You got Mookie 304, Freddie 302. You got Aaron Judge at 299. Altuve 299. Just that stat alone, I went through like the top 11 guys in the game, and they're all on playoff contenders right now. Not one guy on the Mariners is even in there when it comes to average. You got to go all the way down to 42 to find number 44 with 268. So, yeah, you're good at one thing, but you need to improve on the other side of the ball, so to speak, if we're talking in football terms, and that is getting the bats going and helping these guys. So July 30th is close.
I have a question, a task, something, Curtis, you can help us with while we're in this segment. We got a question from a listener because we're going to transition to a conversation about All-Stars, which kind of highlights Seattle's need for some help here. Has there ever been a World Series team that had one All-Star or like the fewest number of All-Stars on a World Series team? Now, just to give you a starting place, someone mentioned the 2006 Cardinals as maybe one of the worst teams.
Yeah, they
certainly
won like 84 games.
Exactly. They were first in their division, but it was a horrible division, 83 and 78 that year. So maybe, starting there and seeing if there are any teams out there. But to answer the question in terms of where Seattle is right now with All-Stars, let's transition to that bump because it kind of highlights what we're talking about here. You say, look, you can use a little help. You don't want to do this on your own. You're in a great place, but you need more. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to recognize that. It's okay to really try to close the gap between you and the Yankees. I know you're never going to spend as much, but why not try to close the gap a little bit in terms of talent, in terms of what you're doing? All-Star ballots are out. Now, the first phase of voting isn't even complete yet, so this is just kind of like a look into where things stand. Guess how many Mariners are in the top 5 vote getters at their position?
None. I'm looking at it right now.
Correct.
Nobody.
Baby. None. Zero. Zilch.
That's
and
crazy.
I know that you can say East Coast bias, but you know what? I don't have it in front of me. If you were to look up like Fangraphs War or something, you probably wouldn't find much either.
No, I get it. And this is the way that team is, though. This team is. There's no real standout. There's the guys who are supposed to be standouts are guys who stand out to us. Kyle Raleigh, I think it's crazy that he's not on this list, though. I think he's one of the better catchers in the game. But you look at the names who are on here, and you go, okay, I understand what's going on. You look at just the outfield, and I think Julio Rodriguez defensively and on the bags is one of the best outfitters in the game. You look at this list, you say, okay, I get it. there hasn't been a real dominant performance from anyone other than on the pitching rotation, right? There's been no Julio streak yet where he's just looking like he's zoned in. Cal has had his moments, but he hasn't really sustained 5, 6, 7, 8 games where he's doing his thing. You look at the names that are on here and you go, yeah, there are stretches where Bobby Witt is lighting things up, where Juan Soto is doing his thing. Kyle Tucker was doing his thing as well. You look at a Salvador Perez. There are names and performances that you can say they have sustained a level of play. This is an up and down type of team, but they have one of the greatest defenses in the world that allows them to play that way, at least so far this year.
Yep.
And those are the guys on the mound. So, no, it makes sense that we don't have guys on this list. It'd be nice. It'd make me feel more secure about the future to have guys on this list. But I also look at this team and I go, this is just a bunch of guys who are going to be scrappy and who are going to do whatever it takes to win a ball game. No dominant performances yet.
And who doesn't love guys being dudes? You know what I mean? I do. I love just guys being dudes. But you want a little bit more when you're talking about trying to win a World Series. And this is a great season for Seattle to go for it because you are in the weakest AL West we've seen in some time. From the 253, All-Star voting's a popularity contest, just like Prom King and Queen. Now listen, 253. First of all, I'm so sorry you did not win Prom King or Queen. Like, this is very obvious, and I'm very sorry. I would have voted for you. But the reason that Aaron Judge is leading all vote getters in the American League is also that he's got 26 home runs and he's OPSing over 1,000. So, yes, All-Star votes, there is an aspect of this that's kind of a popularity contest where we all know, you know, bigger teams, AL East teams especially, are going to just get more attention. Guess what? That's the best division in baseball with two of the best players right now, and they're both on the same team.
And do things to be popular. What do you do? Hit bombs. What do you do? Have a great OPS. What do you do? Slug like a mug.
Yeah, maybe that prom king could throw a heck of a football.
That's, exactly. You have to do things to be popular.
Something.
And honestly, like obviously ESPN, they're gonna highlight the bigger market team, so you're gonna get more eyes on those guys. And yes, the All-Star voting is a popularity contest, but Julio was popular as heck last year around this point when he was doing his thing, or the year before as well. So there are some things that you got to take some responsibility as a Mariner as well and say, all right, individually, we're not doing enough to grab the eyes of the individual. But I honestly believe that this team ain't concerned about all that. They're like, look, man, we are first in our division. 9 games ahead now? Because I believe the Rangers lost last night. 9 games ahead, first in the division. We're starting to find our bats. It's bigger than just wanting to get all-star votes. And the personality of this team allows me to believe that they're not too concerned about that. Of course, everyone wants the accolades, the recognition, but hanging an ALS banner, I think, is more important than an all-star bid, though it would be nice to get Cal on that list.
Exactly. Jeff Passan, I think he loves that the Mariners are in first place. I think he enjoys joining Brock and Salk in the morning to talk about this team. I also think he thinks it's kind of funny they're in first place.
Oh, they're pitching the way that they have, and they're finally starting to hit. And it's wild to think that, as inconsistent as they've been with their bats guys, that they've got a lead as substantial as that. But they have finally started, I think, taking advantage of the weakness throughout the rest of the American League West. And the notion at this point that the Seattle Mariners have the largest divisional lead in baseball is kind of wild to think about when you look at their run differential.
It is wild when you look at their run differential, which I want to say it is a positive run differential, but it's like 11,
19 now.
19 now.
Mm-hmm.
One of the lower ones of the other teams when you consider how the, Phillies, how far ahead the Phillies are of the Braves and the Dodgers of the Padres, which are the two teams just behind Seattle in terms of the distance with that divisional lead. To get back to those all-star, that all-star conversation, there is, I think, real sentiment from listeners on the Mac and Jacks the Mac and Jacks text line bump that that makes sense. Like plenty of people can look at this team and go, I don't see a lot of people on this team that I would think like, wow, what a huge snub.
No.
Like this is a team that is doing it and that's great, but cannot get comfortable with it.
No, and I think this is something they can use, right? To not be comfortable, to look and say, we don't have any all-stars, us against the world. Don't worry about it, fellas. This is a team sport anyway. We'll be good to go. Then you look across the division, some of the things that the division, some of the things that the Mariners struggle with the other teams are struggling with too. Yesterday we talked about their record on the road. Nobody in this division is above 500 on the road.
That's crazy.
Right? And we look at the run differential. Okay, you're plus 19. Right behind you got the Astros at plus 4, and then everyone else is in the red when it comes to run differential. If we it's kind of like when you look at your maps. I'm big on our map. My kids always ask me, where's this, where's that? And I go to my iPhone, open up the map, and I zoom in, right? If we just zoom in to the division, we're like, we know exactly where we are. We know exactly where we are. I got you. When we zoom out is where it gets a little bit confusing. We're trying to figure out, like, yeah, that's far away. That run differential is hella far. Yeah, that road, our record on the road is a ways away. We got some things to do. So it's perspective. We can look at the All-Star voting and say, oh, it's a popularity contest. We don't win that anywhere. Yeah, because we're not doing things to be popular. We can look at the run differential and be like, oh, man, we're only plus 19. I go, well, Astros only plus 4 and got 9 games on them.
Sure.
So it's all perspective. But I think the one thing that we can agree on is that this probably isn't enough to be real World Series contenders. You can, Passan said it, you can get there in this fashion. But we would like a little bit more security. Yeah,
if I'm going to do an analogy of the scary movie one that I said in the sports pit, it would be like the hero in a scary movie, knocks out the killer with a baseball bat and the killer passes out. And you just know as a viewer that killer's not dead.
Nah.
He's not dead. He is simply not
see
dead.
His chest moving.
Exactly.
Up and down.
He's not dead. And then the Mariners turn and start walking away. And what are you doing? And the killer in this case isn't the Astros or the Rangers even. It's just this chance to get to a World Series. Don't get comfortable walking away.
Nah.
Don't turn around and go, whew, all right, here we go. 9-game lead in the division. That's not enough to feel comfortable. You need to make sure, you need to do everything you can. Now, the trick with sports is that you can never absolutely guarantee you're going to win it all. The Yankees look like the best team in baseball right now. There is no guarantee they're going to win a World Series.
Nah.
None at all. None at all. The Dodgers and the Braves look like two of the best teams in the last 2 years. No World Series titles for them over the last 2 years. Like, you're not guaranteed, but you do want more assurance, and you do want a bigger safety net.
It's sports is constantly adjusting to who you are in that moment, who you're playing against, and what else is going on around you, right? That's all it is, essentially. You go into a season with a roster, with a plan. By the first week, things have changed. Guys are banged up. You're looking at lineups, what other teams are doing. When you get this far into the game, you're 70-plus games into a season, yeah, you better be really good at making adjustments. And so far, honestly, they've been okay at making adjustments. They have put guys in spots to where we didn't expect any type of production, and they produce for a game or two or maybe several games and hold it down for a little bit. Perfect example is Tyler Locklear making it and Zavala being out this thing, right? Make these adjustments. And this is where Scott Service in the game come in. When him and the rest of the staff, when they're evaluating players, their health, their potential, the situations they're in, high leverage situations, this is where they make their adjustments. But they can only make adjustments with what they have. So now it's up for upstairs to allow these guys to go out and go ahead and allow them to enhance this roster. So when it really gets tough, they're comfortable making even more adjustments. This is the beauty of a baseball season, man. But to be here, we cannot be upset at 9-game.
No, and we're not
lead in the division. No, but we're also like, hey, might not be enough because you see what's going on around the league. Some guys are balling, and just the talent on the rosters, when you compare them to the Mariners side by side, when it comes to the best, you lean the other way when it comes to just evaluating these dudes. So, yeah, it's a weird place to be, man, because I'm like, I want to be happy. 9 games. Like, yeah, they can win a World Series, but then I'm also like, gosh, but damn, other teams look so good, man. It's a weird place to be as an M's fan.
It is, but I think of it as taking the next step forward in something and then realizing all the new fears that come with that. So, like, if our goal as Mariners fans, and we were truly happy with it, was break the drought, I'd feel great. I would feel great.
Yeah.
Now, I would know that, hey, you gotta, like, really keep at it and really, really do whatever. That would be my very passive, encouraging voice. But I would feel good. I'd feel a lot better. But my goal has changed. After looking at the division, after looking at the starting rotation that has remained healthy, by the way, knock on wood, that this team has. Well, now I want to see him in the ALCS.
Yeah.
Now I want to see, like, God, the wildest possible dream. Is it possible? Like, I entered this season going, World Series isn't going to happen. Get over it. Get back to the playoffs. That's not good enough for me now. I got to be totally honest with you. But that next step brings the nerves, right? Because, Bump, you know that if you thought, let's say they'd never broken the drought, you know that right now you feel pretty good about them making the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, I feel really good.
You'd feel great. You'd be like, yeah,
awesome.
the goal is to make the playoffs, and you wouldn't feel as nervous. But your priorities have changed. Your goal has changed. What
and
is
it's
it
their
now?
fault. Y'all playing well. You change expectations.
Look what you did.
What do you want from me? Okay, I got different expectations now, but it's a privilege as well. So go ahead and keep balling. It starts today. I'm so excited for this series, man, because I remember how Cleveland did this the first time we saw them. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Celtics won their 18th NBA title last night, beating the Mavericks 4-1. What's the real headline?
Boston's long national nightmare of going without a championship is finally over after 5 years.
Oh, thank God.
No Boston team had won a ring in 5 years. There are 5-year-olds that thought they would never see a championship. Kindergartners. There are children about to enter first grade in Boston that have been, I want to say, denied happiness. And that's devastating.
Yeah, man, it was hard to watch. It wasn't hard to watch because you knew it was going to go down. We knew after they were up 3-0 that this was going to happen. Congratulations to Boston. I don't like the jersey. I like the players, though. I like Tatum. I like Brown. Al Horford, 38 years old, been in the league forever. 35 years old. Missoula, their head coach. He's a youngster out there. This is the first time, right? So in 2020, the Lakers won. Then the Bucks and the Warriors and the Nuggets, now Boston. First time in like 30 years within a 5-year span you haven't had a repeat champion. So what is it saying about the NBA? The talent is being spread out. At least that's what we think. I think these guys have a chance to do something special, though. But they beat them, man. They made more free throws. They rebounded the Mavericks by, 16? They had less turnovers. They had a lead of plus 26 at some point. Tatum drops 31. It was inevitable. So congratulations to Boston. I hate it. I'm happy for Dooley. More Dooley because I love
and
Dooley.
And only more Dooley.
Yeah, that's it. More Dooley, not Mike Salk. I don't know if he likes the Celtics. No, he's a Laker, actually. So Salk's on my team.
He doesn't really like the
he's
NBA.
He's a Laker. No, he told me he was a Laker, so I'll take it.
I think he's just trying to make you his friend, so you'll
so?
golf with him more. Yeah, this is I'm telling you right now, Mike Salk does not give a hoot about the Lakers.
I bet he does.
No, he wants you to golf with him more, and he wants you to. He wants you to join him on a tea time.
You guys always hating on my friendships. First, you try to divide me and Matt every
it's
day.
Not real.
Every day you try to divide us.
I'm just trying to be honest, unlike Mike Salk.
Early odds for the 2024-2025 champs are the Boston Celtics, Nuggets, Mavs, T-Wolves, and Oklahoma City Thunder are 2 through 5 there in terms of odds. Of the Celtics, Nuggets, and Mavs, I'll throw in the T-Wolves and Thunder. Which do you actually think has the best chance?
I think Boston does, man, because the East ain't what it used to be. Now, New York, I think, has a chance to do some things. Philly might make a move here or there. But, I think it's Boston. You got to give it to them.
I also just want to say, this is why it is imperative to me, another reason, that the Mariners or literally anyone besides New York win a World Series. I can't live in a world where the Celtics and the Yankees win in the same calendar year. I don't want that.
Yankees ain't getting it done. I don't know. They got all the talent
in the world. They are amazing right now. They are
and they're getting Garrett Cole back this weekend.
If the Yankees don't win a World Series, their fans will lose their minds.
They ain't. Get ready. Riots.
I would love to see it. I would love to see them not.
I'm just putting bad juju out
I love it. I love it.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, in a recorded phone call with Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels, 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk said the 49ers, quote, "Don't want me back." What's the real headline?
Talking about a contract situation publicly will surely get you paid faster. So this is great work.
These kids are so aware of what they're doing. And if no one is advising Brandon Ayuk, agent, get on it right now. The best way to move in these situations is in silence. I don't understand why they think shaming their organization is going to help them. Now, Brandon Ayuk is good enough to where it won't affect them too much. I think if the 49ers want them, they're going to go get them. But they don't necessarily need him. They got a bunch of talent over there. He is the best receiver on the roster. But the way their offense is set up, they can go many places with the rock.
I need to pause and issue an apology to Mike Salk. I've been told by the Mac and Jack's text line that he's talked multiple times about being a Laker fan growing up.
I thought I was making that up.
I didn't think you were making it up, but I know you and I know Mike. both of you are obsessed with golf, and I thought that this was some secret thing to be like, yeah, for sure, me too. So what country club are you going to this weekend? Can I come?
This is real. This is real talk.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver had this to say when talking about potential expansion markets. See if he can tell what city he's talking about.
The next round of expansion will be more focused on continental United States. And in that case, the factors go to the amount of interest there are in those markets. Certainly markets that maybe have historically had NBA teams. You would know that well, PJ. You know, that comes into the mix as well. So those are largely the factors. And yeah, I'd say we also look where other leagues have done, where we've seen success for major league sports.
So a city that has had history with the NBA and has had an expansion team recently. What's the real headline?
Just say it's Seattle.
Yeah.
Why not? Just say we're looking at Seattle. Like, I genuinely don't know why he can't. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason, because he's not doing it. More clearly commit to, like, yes, Seattle. Seattle will be one of the cities. That is our number one priority.
It's probably some things going on behind the scenes to where you can't completely commit, and he's gotta make it seem like everyone has an opportunity here. That's the best thing for the NBA. But I don't know, you might get it. Oh, this city over here, you might get it. But
you never know. The Panthers might win a Super Bowl.
But you know it has to be Seattle, man. This fan base is crazy. They support the Storm, the Kraken, the Sounders, the Mariners, the Seahawks. If you bring a team here, it will be well supported. And the Climate Pledge is perfect. It's set up for this. It's made for this. It makes complete sense if this does not go down.
Yep.
Watch out.
Speaking of watching out, what to watch for as the Mariners face the first place Guardians. That's next.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike 3.
With Jeff Passan, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
The Mariners have arguably the best pitching staff in baseball. I think I'm probably taking the Mariners at the end of the day over every team in the American League right now.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
This is the team to beat in the division. And it's not just a hot take. That's what the numbers say, that they're the team to beat in the division.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Looking for a new ride? Visit harnessautofamily.com for the hometown hookup on new Subarus, Chevrolets, Buick, GMCs, Kias, and Volkswagens, plus over 300 used cars and trucks. Tell them Brock sent you. harnessautofamily.com. People matter.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
Asset Roofing, leaders in local metal roofing. Asset Roofing makes each metal roof at their headquarters custom to each job. This allows for up to a 30% discount for the customer.
Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450E has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings up to $17,000 lease cash on every RZ450E. Visit LexusofBellevue.com.
O'Brien.
On approval of credit through LFS, lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by July 1st, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
At the UPS store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight. And you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Players Spotlight.
Give props to Jerry and Justin. They did a great job bringing in these good group of guys.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Experience firsthand the innovative spirit and vibrant culture of Washington at the Washington Brewers Festival. 2 days of tasty food and beverages paired with great entertainment. The Washington Brewers Festival is June 22nd and 23rd at Seattle Center. Learn more and get tickets now at WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. That's WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. Use promo code Seattle Sports for 10% off. The Washington Brewers Festival. Join in for this incredible Washington tradition.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and smart home technology, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
You're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 10:45, where can Geno Smith take a step forward in 2024? What do you want to see more of from Seattle's quarterback in 2024? Get into that at 45 after. Before we do, what to watch for as the Mariners face the first-place Guardians. When I say the Guardians, a lot of you are already thinking of Jose Ramirez, but here's the deal. He's not even the biggest bat that you're going to be watching in this one, because Stephen Kwan and David Fry are both out of this world right now. Kwan hitting, thanks Curtis for these numbers, 398. Fry has an on-base percentage of 440. Bump, they are really going to bring the heat offensively.
Yeah, they are. Fry, if it wasn't for him slowing down in June, his numbers would be even more nuts. Quan, on the other hand, the homie Quan, on the other hand, man, he doesn't strike out. He literally doesn't strike out. 176 at-bats. He's got 14 strikeouts. He don't miss. He has 8 hits in the last 3 games. These are the sneaky teams, because you look at Ramirez, and obviously you should highlight Ramirez. He's the big bat on that team. But this is the type of team to where Ramirez is just the first off the bus, but the second, third guy off the bus can get it done as well. When you look at them, when it comes to their batting numbers as a team, they're average. They're average and slightly above average in other positions. I look at them and I go, man, if the Mariners just had those type of numbers, what could they be? I wrote a note down. I go, they'd be maybe 13 games in front of whoever the Astros at this point now. I believe the Astros overtook the Rangers last night. Yeah. So you look at this team, and they are a squad that is a well-rounded team with some star power, and these are the dangerous ones. And I'm excited to see this because the last time we saw these boys, man, it was not good. And I love that McKenzie's on the mound. You were talking about him earlier. You said it sounds like he's a good kid. Well, keep doing what you're doing, McKenzie. He's given up like 9 bombs in the last 5 games. So bring that power with you to Cleveland.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's talk about kind of the 2 things. The pitching with Cleveland a little bit, but also when we talk about facing certain teams that are kind of lopsided, meaning maybe their offense is great but their pitching isn't, or vice versa, it feels, like, well, the Mariners have an advantage here because if their offense can get going, they're fine, and we know the pitching is amazing. The Guardians are one of those teams. They aren't clearly as good as the Yankees or Orioles, but when we talk about teams that can hit, and also they can pitch, and Bump, your thing has been like, well, what else do you do? As that kind of like recurring question Mariners fans should be asking themselves, what else is your team doing? The Guardians are 7th in ERA. McKenzie's not been a big part of that. I'm glad you mentioned him, but like this is a balanced team. This is a very complete team.
Yep, they're the 5th lowest strikeout rate, 19.5%. So they're going to put the bat on the ball. They have the 9th highest extra base hit percentage at 7.7. Now the 5th highest run differential at plus 86, and 26 batting average of balls in play. So they're not striking out. The balls are getting in play. They're not necessarily making a whole bunch of plays, but they find a way to score, right? You look at some of these numbers and you say, all right, they're making good contact. They're not striking out. The ball is in play, and they can hit for extra bases. And let's sprinkle in some all right pitching. And this is a team that can beat anybody. They're that. I almost feel like as of right now, they're that tweener team in between the elite team, the very good teams, and the good teams. They're floating between the good and very good teams. They got the capability to play like a very good team, probably more like a good team. When you play a team like Seattle, I'm sure they're looking at them and saying, this is a big challenge for us. Let's see how good we are. Because we're looking at the Cleveland Guardians and saying the same thing. That's why I like this matchup, because I feel like it's even as it's going to get at this point of the year.
It's a really good point. Someone said, Stephen Kwan's been hurt, so that doesn't count. Listen to me right now. Stephen Kwan's last 5, 4 for 5, 3 for 4, 1 for 4. That's his worst, by the way. It doesn't get worse than that. 2 for 5, 3 for 4. Stephen Kwan is going to get a hit tonight, and it's your fault.
He's done this in 176 at-bats. This is not a small sample
size. No, listen,
size.
I want this listener to know what they just did. 2-5-3. Stephen Kwan is going to get a hit tonight, and that's on you. Okay?
Yeah, and he ain't going to strike out neither. 176 ABs, 14 Ks. He don't strike out.
He has 70 hits in 43 games.
He's going to get a double.
Crazy.
He's going to get a double. At 2-5-3, I want you to sit and think about what you did. I'm going mom mode now.
Curtis, what's their stadium like? Is it hard to hit there in Cleveland?
No, it's a pretty, hitters can put up numbers there. They've consistently had good offenses in Cleveland.
I mean, to be fair, another thing that we're going to be watching, though, is Seattle's pitching on the road, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because we were a little concerned about those splits with the hitting being relatively the same on the road, right? When it's bad, it's bad at home, too. It's just when the Mariners are hot, they're hot on the road as well. That carries. The pitching hasn't been.
No. But you still believe in it, don't you?
Yeah,
you still think that these guys are going to get on the mound and do exactly what they're supposed to do. I'm looking forward to seeing if Wu makes his start as well. He missed the last one, right? They gave him some time off. He missed an opportunity to play against his boy from college. But, I want to see that as well. Is Wu going to be healthy? Is this game going to travel? I talked about how my golf game does not travel sometimes. I play at Echo so often. I could spray one to the right, and I find a way to scratch out a par. We got to see if this game travels now. You've taken care of home. You've done a great job of taking care of home, especially against divisional opponents. Now let's see what you look like on the road against a team you're not going to see as often.
MLB's recent power rankings had the Mariners at number 7, which is awesome considering that their season low was 21. They had the Guardians at 5. I do not think the Mariners are going to sweep this series. I think the Guardians are going to play them tough. You have a manager, Stephen Vogt, who knows your team. He used to be your bullpen coach. I think this is going to be incredibly difficult. But let's play hypotheticals. If the Mariners sweep, do they deserve to leapfrog the Guardians in these power rankings?
Yeah, for sure. You went to their house. You went in their kitchen, you made a sandwich, you sat down, watched some TV, didn't put your plates in the sink, and you got up out of there. Yes, of course. What what better indicator than to go head-to-head and say, let's duke it out and let's see. Things can change after that because the Guardians, they got Toronto, Baltimore, Kansas City. 3 series that nothing's guaranteed at all in sports, but definitely not with that lineup there. So, no, if you go head-to-head and you take them down, you have to leapfrog them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Guardians right now are just like a better team on paper. A huge part of that is their pitching staff isn't quite as good, but their lineup has been performing that much better. If you go there and in particular, if you win by, your pitching being solid, but getting offense and you feel like this offense in general is starting to heat up again. Not only are we coming back, probably having a conversation about Brant Brown once again, but we're also talking about how the Mariners are winning by making us feel reassured about something that concerns us.
Yeah. And again, I would love to see Julio do his thing. Like we're still waiting, right? We're still anticipating him having a span of just really solid ball. 3 for 1 on Sunday, 2 for 5 on Saturday, 0 for on a Friday. He's 3 RBIs in that last series and a home run. Things are pointing in the right direction. The series before that, he goes yard. It's feeling like he's waiting to erupt. It feels like he's really close. So I hope this is the series, man, because it'd be so nice for Julio to go out there and set the tone early, and then the pitching bring those arms to the road and get it done in Cleveland.
Exactly, and we talked about liking some of the power we were seeing from these guys. Obviously, you'd like Julio to be slugging even more. You'd love for Mitch to be slugging even more, but you talked about just a few general offensive categories for this team that had been improving, more doubles, a better OPS. Like we've been seeing steps forward. Let's see if it continues against the Guardians. And here's the last thing I'll say that's kind of nice about this road trip. I never want to look down at a team, but it's not like you're facing the Guardians, then the Orioles, then the Yankees, and you just can't catch your breath. You've got a nice little break with the Marlins. They're still going to play you tough. It's still going to be difficult. You are on the road and a very imperfect team at that. But you do get a chance here to have a nice road trip. You really do. And so let's hope that they come back looking at least 500 on the road and trying to improve that road record in general. We are going to get back to the Mariners, of course. That includes at 1 p.m. We'll get back to them before then. But at 1 p.m., we become the Dugout, all Mariners from 1 to 2. Before we get to any of it, though, talking Seahawks back-to-back here. We'll start with this one. Where do you want to see Geno Smith improve in 2024? That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Jeffrey Passan joins us every Tuesday at 8:30.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
Can the Mariners win a World Series with their current 40-man roster?
Yes, that's how good their pitching is. And I believe in October, even though you're facing the teams that have the best lineups in the world, that the Mariners pitching can neutralize that. And they are so good in that ballpark. It is a horror show if you're coming into T-Mobile and you're another team right now.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Gene Johnson, how can I help you?
I just flipped the AC on and it went clunk.
We're on it.
Gene Johnson, plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical. We're on it.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for Window Nation. If you haven't had a chance to take advantage of their semi-annual sale, you are in luck because they've extended it. Get 50% off all windows with no interest for 5 years and a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate now. If your old windows are costing you too much for AC, that's a big deal. And now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save big. This offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Well, we were all hoping for good news from the feds, but without any rate cut in sight, Americans are still paying crazy high rates on credit cards and other loans. Don't wait for things to get worse. If you're struggling, act now. Hey, this is Brock Ewart for my friends at Tila Mortgage. Contact Tila for information on their home equity line of credit, or HELOC. With a HELOC, you can consolidate high-interest bills into one lower, manageable payment while keeping your current low fixed-rate first mortgage. Tila's been helping Washingtonians consolidate debts for over 25 years, and they're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages, too. Take control of your finances and improve your monthly cash flow. Don't let debt payments control your life. Call Tila Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is once again partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 3rd Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 12th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at WOISeattle.org.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Everyone knows by now that Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn is the best place to sell your car without the hassle of trying to sell it yourself. They pay you all of your cash for your car up front, and then once they resell it, they share 50% of their profit with you. But what about when you're looking to purchase your next vehicle? I'm here with my friend Mark from Wayscar Ford. We know the profit sharing program is great, but why is Wayscar Ford the best place to buy a new car?
Well, not only do we have great prices, but you can shop with confidence. Now, every dealer says they're not going to press you. We do not. You get a full 5-day or 500-mile, 100% money-back guarantee on absolutely every car that we sell. Hey, look, we don't want to sell you a car unless you want to buy one. That doesn't do us or you any good. Okay, but one thing I can promise you is a great price and absolutely no pressure.
So whether you're buying or selling a car, Wayscar Ford Isuzu is the place to go. They have the highest Google ratings of any Ford dealer in the Puget Sound region with thousands of reviews. Go to wayscarford.com. That's wayscarford.com.
So what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Talking Geno Smith, so everyone I'm sure will be very rational and unanimous in our takes on him. Just kidding, but that's kind of what makes this conversation fun, right? Where do you want to see Geno Smith take a step forward in 2024? You can get your answers into the Mac and Jacks text line, 866-979-3776. Bump, I have my answer, but you've watched these games very closely and you know this player well. So where do you want him? Where do you need to see him take a step forward?
One, naturally, I need him to take a step forward when it comes to leadership. Not to say he was a bad leader, but I think that him having his 3rd year as a starter here, naturally, you start to grow in your leadership. You start to reflect. Maybe I shouldn't have said this to this player. Maybe I should interact differently with that player. So leadership, one, But I want him to do a better job working the middle of the field. I'm looking at some of the greats in this league work in the middle of the field. Brock Purdy throws to the middle about 59% of the time. You got Jared Goff, 62% of the time. He leads everybody. You have Tua, who works at 59% of the time, and you have Pat Mahomes, who works at 57% of the time. So I'm looking at Geno. He works the middle of the field 47% of the time. He loves throwing it to the left side. He's better on the numbers to hashes than he is in the middle of the field. Maybe that's by design. Maybe that's what Shane Waldron was asking him to do. But the more you can spread the ball out across the yard, the better you are going to be. And with receivers moving into different positions, we're hearing about Tyler Lockett playing more slot, DK playing more slot, JSN moving outside and going inside. With the rumors of these guys being moved around and the way that Ryan Grubb loves to run these meshes and these deep crosses, I would love to see him work the middle of the field more, especially when you incorporate the RPO as well, because a lot of the time you're picking on a Mike linebacker or an outside linebacker, getting him to bite. If he bites, boom, you drop a ball right over his head, and then you're off to the races. That's what I want to see. I want to see Geno just spread the love, which I think he's done a good job of doing, but he's neglected the middle of the field. It might be by design. It might be just by him being comfortable throwing to the sidelines or by Shane Waldron asking him to go there. Whatever it may be, let's spread it out a bit, work the middle of the field.
All right, tell me what you think about a few of these listener responses, and then I've got mine from the 425. Improved game awareness, ? He had some wild moments last year without timeouts that made no sense, not spiking the ball when he should, etc.
I believe his response for not spiking the ball is that he thought he saw something. I don't know how that went over with the offensive staff, but procedural things, you need your quarterbacks to be 99.9% when it comes to that. Getting up to the football, like you mentioned, spiking the ball when you need to, being aware of the play clock and calling timeouts and not always relying on the sidelines to do that for you, making checks at the line of scrimmage. Procedural things, I think with his third year being under center, being that number one guy, he should get better at, but I can feel that.
Nelson and Kent making a point that I wonder if it would also address mine, which is just a quicker release in general. Nelson and Kent, as the biggest Geno fan who thinks his game is great, I want to see his confidence improve. Confidence that he's the guy and his actions showing that. You're the guy, so be the guy.
When I watch him play, I don't see a lack of confidence in being the guy. I think late in the games, there are situations where he doesn't want to make a tight throw because he doesn't want to turn the football over. And I saw someone else on the text line mention, stop throwing it to defenders. Yeah, interceptions are going to happen. So just count on 10 of them at least, right? That's going to happen in football. So no, I see a confident guy, but maybe he means confidence in his throws late in the games, being willing to try to fit it through that small window.
I have a response to Joe in Bellevue, but I want you to go first. Joe in Bellevue says, 1, he needs to be better than a 500 quarterback. 2, he needs to use the talent he has more than he does. He throws to open receivers well, but doesn't understand when and how his receiver has an advantage, even when he looks covered.
Here's the problem I have with that is this has been a 500 team. He don't play defense.
That's what I was going to say.
He don't call plays. He doesn't miss field goals. He doesn't return kicks. That's why when I look at a quarterback's win-loss, I'm like, yeah, that's good if it works to your advantage. But a guy like Geno, I think there's so much more affecting him. Is he a 500 quarterback? Okay, his record says that. But if you watch the games, and I think you can dive a bit deeper. And then he says, he needs to throw. He throws open receivers, but doesn't understand when and how his receivers has an advantage, even when he looks covered. I think that goes to taking more chances. And I honestly think that Ryan Grubb will push him to take more chances because Michael Penix took a lot of chances with his receivers on the outside. I think when it comes to taking chances, it could be Geno not wanting to pull the trigger, or it could be an offensive coordinator right before the ball is snapped, before their 15 seconds is cut off. Hey, take care of that football, all right? Don't force anything. It's a mentality.
I completely agree. And my response was echoing your first point. I think Trevor Lawrence has more potential than Geno, and he's younger than Geno, and he has a bigger arm and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not comparing the two quarterbacks exactly. What I'm comparing is the pointlessness of wins and losses as a quarterback stat and how quickly we are to defend some quarterbacks and then use it against others. If I said Trevor Lawrence was well below 500 in a career, he's 20-30. That's his career quarterback breakdown. You wouldn't even spend a second before you'd say, oh, well, it's Trevor Lawrence. Like, he was the number 1 pick. This guy was one of the best college quarterbacks we've ever seen. We knew he was going to go number 1 when he was 18. Like, he has a bad team around him. The Jags are historically awful. The Seahawks are not historically awful. Certainly haven't been for the last decade. So when you look at Geno, you go, oh, well, he's 500. I mean, this team isn't going to get better unless he improves. And I just want to hit pause on that logic, because while a quarterback does take you to the next level, it's the most important position on the field. To your point, the Seahawks were a very flawed team. They are 500 not because Geno threw some interceptions, but also because they were 31st against the run.
Stop nobody.
Right.
That's
like
why.
these are all hugely important stats. So I just think we're like really quick to defend some quarterbacks with wins, losses, especially if they're on historically bad teams, and not as much to defend quarterbacks that are on better teams, even if that team last year or the year before, the last couple of years, has really struggled.
Yeah, and I understand Pat Mahomes is a unicorn. He had a down year. And the reason why he was able to have a down year according to his standards and still do the things that they did last year was because that defense was incredible. That defense allowed him to make some mistakes. So now imagine going into a situation where you know you're going to touch the football. The football is going to be in your hands 75 to 80 times a game, and every mistake you make is amplified because the defense isn't holding down. They're a part of the deal, and you're not as talented as a Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, the elite of the elite. No one's sitting here saying that Geno is an all-pro type of quarterback, but what we are saying is that we understand who Geno is. We understand that he can win you some ball games. We were just talking off air, right? 5 game-winning drives led the NFL. He can win you some ball games, but I also think he's the type of quarterback that knows that if he throws 2 or 3 interceptions, the chances of them winning that game go down tremendously because the defense weren't able to make stops last year. Maybe he feels different. And I'll say it again. That's why I think that this year he will grow more, because I think the defense is going to be better. I think a third year as a starter here is going to be great. You have a new offensive coordinator who will make him push the ball down the field more. There's still some growth in Geno. That's what gets me excited about it. I understand who he is, not elite of the elite, but he will be better because of the things that are happening around him.
Also, I just really I understand the basis of the idea, if the offense plays better, then the defense will play better because the defense can, stay off the field and blah, blah, blah. But, like, why are we making it an offense's responsibility for a defense to stop a running back? Get off the field. You're a professional. Like, I'm sorry. And would you do the opposite if it was like the defense? If the defense was like lights out and the offense is letting them down? No, you'd be like, oh my God, the offense needs to get it together. This is exactly what I was thinking about Denver when that defense was amazing, holding teams to like 10 points a game for a brief period of time. Yeah. And the offense couldn't even get 10 points a game. It was ridiculous. And people were pointing fingers at the offense, rightfully so. So I don't know. I don't like the whole like point to the other side of the ball and say like, hey, you need to help me play better. Do it on your own. And obviously these are cohesive units that need to complement each other. But
real quick,
you got to do it
real quick. Chiefs averaged 21.5 points per game last year. Seahawks averaged 21.4 points per game last year on offense. Defenses be a bit more better.
I had a really good question that someone sent in as part of this segment that wasn't related to Geno, so that listener knows. I threw it into what I need to know. I'll throw it Bump's way a bit later in the show. We are going to stick with the Seahawks. Big Ray Roberts joining us next. Don't go anywhere.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike 3.
With Jeff Bassett, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
The Mariners have arguably the best pitching staff in baseball. I think I'm probably taking the Mariners at the end of the day over every team in the American League right now.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
This is the team to beat in the division. And it's not just a hot take. That's what the numbers say, that they're the team to beat in the division.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Everyone loves a road trip. Start yours at the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales Event. Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and this month, the Harnish Auto Family is offering a chance to win a $500 road trip package from Sportco and Outdoor Emporium. Test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win. No purchase necessary. Just stop by your favorite dealership, Volkswagen of Puyallup, Subaru of Puyallup, Kia of Everett, Chevrolet Buick GMC of Puyallup, or Chevrolet of Everett, and take a test drive for your chance to win. HarnishAutoFamily.com. People matter. See dealership for details.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and smart home technology, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The IRS deadline has come and gone. So do you owe money to the IRS? If so, you need an ally. Whether you owe the IRS $6,000 or $600,000, whether your tax problems are personal or business, the professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to step in and negotiate your fresh start with the IRS. Here's a happy customer of Allies Tax Relief.
Before calling Allies Tax Relief, I feared the IRS would take all of my assets. I owed them over $562,000. Thankfully, I was referred to Allies and called them for help. They ultimately saved my life from uncertainty. Allies negotiated my giant tax debt to an unbelievable $1,500. They are professionals and they fight the fight for their clients.
Allies Tax Relief will protect your assets from being seized and your paycheck from being garnished. Call right now for your free consultation. 800-296-0772. That's 800-296-0772. Or visit AlliesTaxRelief.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
We've got a Mariners roster move this morning. Ty France is back with the team after being placed on the 10-day IL to nurse a right heel fracture. In a corresponding move, Seby Zavala has been designated for assignment. Well, congratulations to the Boston Celtics for winning the NBA Finals in a dominant series. Gave up just 1 loss to the Mavs. They're already, the Celtics, the odds-on favorite to win 24-25 series. The Mariners are back on the road, opening a series against the Cleveland Guardians. It's Bryce Miller against Tristan McKenzie. First pitch at 3:40 p.m. Pregame show right here at 2:30 p.m.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is Bump and Stacy
On Seattle Sports.
streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Seahawks with Big Ray Roberts. He joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Ray, how's it going?
It's going all right, buddy. How you guys doing? Looking forward to some of this really hot weather coming near the end of the week.
I know. I'm so excited. It's going to feel so summery as we enter into, by the way, the first week of summer here. So, hey, listen, Bump and I were just talking about what we want to see from Geno Smith in 2024, so I figured I'd throw the question your way to get us started here. What do you want to see more of from the Seahawks quarterback?
You know what? The first year that he took over, I remember the first half of the season. He was on fire, and not on fire just in like throwing the ball and completing passes, but the command and control that he had of the offense, the way he could walk up to the line of scrimmage, get the offense into the right play or the most right play, and then they were successful at it. Like, I was just super impressed at how he had total command and control of the offense, and I think he played with much more confidence. Then he knew where he wanted to throw the ball, when he wanted to throw it. The ball came out fast in the passing game. And then in the run game, there was a lot of success because he was reading the box. And when the box was favorable for running the football, they ran the football. And to me, that's when the offense was really clicking under Geno.
Hey, Ray, for the first time since 1991, the Seahawks are they're going and having joint practice with the Tennessee Titans. Have you ever been in a joint practice? If so, enlighten me. And then two, what do you think about that move made by Mike McDonald?
Yeah, I've been in some joint practices, if you want to call them that. And for me, they ended up being joint fights. But,
I knew it was going that. The second you laughed, I was like, he's going to say you got to fight.
Yeah, so when I didn't do it when I was here with Seattle, but in Detroit, we practiced against the Carolina Panthers one year, and then I forget who the other team was, but against the Panthers, they had what's his name? Gosh, dang, his name's on top of my head. But he looked like Hulk Hogan used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, I know you're talking about missing teeth and all.
Kevin Green.
Yes.
And so he was a veteran dude, and I'm like into my veteran stage of playing. And so in those situations, like you're not trying to bull rush dudes and one-on-one pass rush and stuff like that. Like that's an easy way out, And so guys are trying their moves and doing all this other kind of stuff. Well, there's this one young dude that just kept trying to bull rush. I'm like, yo, man, like the kind of unwritten rules that we were not bull rushing in this thing. And so eventually he did it again. And so I just had to lay these hands on him. And so then Kevin Green got all his feelings. And this is when he was all into like the WWF stuff and thought he was like the second coming of Hulk Hogan. And I said, hey, look, man, like this will not be like wrestling. There will be no script to it. The only ending of it is me beating the out of you. And so if that's what you want to do, then let's do it. And so then we get to the weight room afterwards because the teams, like, we're using the same weight room. And I'm on the bench press, and he kind of stands over me. And I was like, man, like, seriously? Like, you really want to do this? Because I have no problem doing it, Mike. You know me. Like, it's like, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's don't play about it. Let's not tease about it or talk about it. I'm not going to talk a whole lot of trash. Like, it's just me and you. Let's go. And then they separated us and all this other kind of stuff. So, yeah, those things tend to be good for, like, the first, couple days or couple practices. But if you can't control, like, some of the little chippiness that goes on, then they just end up being, like, joint fight practices. So,
what's the biggest name you've ever thrown hands with?
Oh, man, like, probably John Randall, probably. I fought the whole defensive line for the Minnesota Vikings
Who
one year.
started it?
Well, John Randall, there's an interception, and then back then they had this defensive line named John Tierling, and he would tell the defensive lineman on the interception, go after the quarterback, because they're trying to hurt the quarterback, get the quarterback out the game.
Oh,
and so they John Randall hit Scott Mitchell, like, blocking him supposedly. And as soon as he got off the ground, I just served him up with a couple left, right, left, a couple uppercuts, grabbed the helmet. I fought Alonzo Spellman when he played for the Chicago Bears. I've fought Derek Thomas, I don't know, Leonard, I think it was, what his name, not Leonard Williams, Leonard Marshall for the Giants, a big defense tackle. So I didn't shy. The whole Raider defensive line, Howie Long, Chester McLaughlin, Greg Townsend, took on all of them.
Ray, please promise me that during Seahawks pre and post, you and Bump can keep a running tally of whatever opponents you talk about, whether or not you would beat them in a fight. I want that stat, and I want the numbers for the season. All right, Ray's 5-0 right now against defensive linemen we've talked about.
Hey, I'm just gonna say, this is what this is the place I need to see. I know that Abe Lucas can go to this place. I need to see Charles Cross go to that place. I'm a pretty approachable dude off the field. I'm going to talk to anybody. I'll talk to you about anything. It's going to be really hard for you to get me, off my square.
Yeah.
But when I get on the football field, it was a totally different ball game. I had no friends, even in practice. If you're practicing against me, you better bring it all day long because I'm bringing it all day long. And if you bring less than that, then I'm going to be in your snatch because I need you to make me better. And so that's how I played, man. And, I fought a lot all the time. And sometimes you got to get yourself to go to that place to know where that place is, and know that you can get there and it's going to be okay. And sometimes that translates into football where you're more physical, you're more you move faster, you're quicker, you're locked in more, all those types of things. And I think that's a place that Charles Cross has to be willing to venture to.
Yeah, Ray, last week we were talking about what I wanted this team to be. Well, we had a segment. What do you want this team to be? And I told Stacey I want them to be borderline dirty on defense. I want them to push the line and strike as much fear as you can with today's rules when it comes to protecting the ball carriers and all that good stuff. On offense, what's something that you want them to be? It sounds like you need that offensive line to get going, and I think you need to do that whether it's pass pro or run game, right? But what do you want this offense to be?
Well, to me, it all starts up front in this. Because usually if the offensive line is really being physical and handling their business, it usually translates throughout the whole team because it gets the defense fired up, it gets the running backs fired up, it gets the DBs fired up, which you probably don't need that with this group of DBs. It gets everyone jacked up. And so I don't know if – I think sometimes our offensive line, at least the last couple of years, because they're younger dudes, are so focused on – making sure they get their assignments right and not realizing that you're in a freaking fist fight. And you have to approach it that way. You have to be willing, like you said, Mike, on the defense. You don't know how far you can go until you go as far as you can. And so that means you have to push the envelope as far as you can around being physical, around being dominating, about imposing your will on another dude. You can't be a nice dude focused on whether or not I got the assignment right and also be a mean, nasty guy. You know what I'm saying? You have to find a place to be both of those things, because if you bring the physicality and you bring that type of meat-eating dog to the offense, it's gonna help the whole offense. It's gonna really give the offense an identity. It's gonna have defense going when you play the Seahawks, win, lose, or draw, man, you're in a dog fight. That's what I used to love. I know you went to Wazoo, Big Mike, but when I came here to Seattle in the early 90s, the University of Washington football team, they used to kick the crap out of everybody. They were so freaking physical. It was unbelievable. And I hung out over there because they were closer to my age than the guys on the Seahawks. So I hung out with Lincoln Kennedy and all those cats over there. But that's what it felt like when you went to their games. And that's what it should feel like. It should feel like you're just you're in a street fight for 4 hours and the last person standing is going to win. And I feel like that's the type of approach I want to see our offense take. And that's even tapping into the DK Metcalf stuff. I'm fine with what DK does. Poke the bear all the time. Be real close. You're going to get your 3 or 4 personal fouls a year. So what? Like, you're going to get them one way or another. Might as well get them doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with that. And I want the whole offense to play with that type of chip on their shoulder.
As far as style, does that translate to like run heavy? Are you cool with finesse? Like, how would you like to see that translate into what they do offensively?
Yeah, well, the game is the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays, they're going to throw the ball. Like, like everyone's throwing the ball. That's kind of, it's a quarterback receiver league, and that's cool. But you're going to get your opportunities to run the ball, and you have to impose your will on that, on those folks. And then even in the passing game, like, one of the things that frustrated me last year was, like, let's say DK caught the ball at 8 yards, and he's 2 yards shy of the first down. And our offensive lineman would just be, like, watching. And DK is fighting for 2 yards. If you watch other teams, man, the offensive linemen, they're using every rule they got. They pushing the pile, getting another 3 or 4 yards. A guy like DK, he might break a tackle and keep running. Yeah. Like, that's what I want to see, And then just watching, like, the offense that these dudes ran at the UW, I love the way that they brought power football different ways. So some people think of power football as like a fullback and 2 tight ends, and we're just going to run downhill. But power football is also pulling a 330-pound, guard to trap a linebacker or trap a defensive end, or pulling the backside guard and tackle, the pin and pull. All that stuff is physical power football. And so I'd love to see them incorporate that into the offense because I think they have, like, more athletic guards that can move and run and block on the run and get up to the second level and those types of things. And I think the tight ends are willing blockers, which is, they may not have to be the best blockers, but if they're willing to do it, stick their face in the fan and block, then I think you have a chance. And if you saw last year, K9 was better when he was running downhill first and then picking up yards and bouncing to the outside versus just trying to get to the outside all the time. I think that will bring the type of physicality. And then you have all the play action off of that. You see what they did at, like some of the stuff they did at UW and some of the stuff they've done in Baltimore where they have play action passes off of all that pin and pull stuff. And so I think you can create like a very diverse offense that way that gives a defense, especially on the second level, a lot of things to see and think about as these big dudes are coming to knock your face off.
Hey, was that the way they were being coached? You were at practice, last week? I'm sure you spent some time with the linemen seeing what they're doing, and I'm sure you heard Dirty McDonald defensively. The way you're describing you want this team, did you feel like they're being coached and prepared to be that?
I do, because the thing about that I've learned or that I'm seeing with Coach Huff is that, man, he is teaching like some old school techniques. Like a lot of coaches nowadays try to come up with their own things so they sound really cool when they're talking at the coaching clinics and all this other kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, man, some of the good tried and true stuff still works. And so just watching how he coaches them on some of the techniques they use, but then also how he's coaching them to be explosive and quick, fast, beating the defender to the point, being violent with your hands. Like you can hear him saying those actual words. Be more violent with your hands. And, they had like the boxing mitts out there the other day, and they're being really precise with their punching and when their timing of their punch and all this stuff. So I think the way that he's coaching them and the techniques and things that they're working on, when you're seeing them hit right now, they're just hitting the blocking sled and not really hitting other people with pads and things. But his emphasis is on being quick, fast, and physical, and I like that.
He is Big Ray Roberts, kind enough to join us, talk a lot of O-line today. Enjoy this conversation. Thanks so much, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
So thanks for always having me, man, and always throwing some love to the big uglies up front.
Always. Thanks, Ray. All right, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
You love seeing players get paid. Who's been the latest beneficiary of a payday?
My man, Ladd McConkey, receiver from Georgia. He is the highest paid ever 34th overall pick. He's getting paid more than Sam Laporta. He was number 34 last year. You saw how good that young man is. He's expected to be the number 2 receiver with the Los Angeles Chargers. He signed a 4-year, $9.9 million deal. He got $4 million at signing. I love to see it. And the more I look at the Los Angeles Chargers, the more I talked about their defense last year, how Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack took a pay cut to stay there. I'm looking at Quentin Johnson, who I think is going to be a good number 1 receiver. Ladd should be number 2. You still got Joshua Palmer over there as well. Brendan Rice, I think, is going to be a sneaky receiver from USC, Jerry Rice's son. And then Uncle Will Dissly at tight end. We know what he looks like when he's healthy. Ain't going to burn you. Ain't going to have those huge plays down the field, but he's going to get it done. But no, I like Ladd McConkey, man. They said, I'm reading about him, they said he's like a veteran. He understands the playbook completely. You can put him anywhere. It sounds good, man. Whenever somebody can change the game. We saw receivers kind of change the game for the top tier guys, quarterback as well. What about these middle tier 34 overall picks? Get your money, lad. I'm happy for you.
You mentioned the beneficiary of a payday, which made me think of Payday, the candy bar, which made me think that they're not very good at all. What's your top 3 candy bars?
Snickers.
I'm throwing in an extra.
I'm not really candy bar guy. Snickers, maybe.
Oh, okay. I'll say candy then. So
okay.
I'll allow for.
Okay. So Reese's, Snickers, Twix.
Great answers. Second down. Who have you been hearing whispers about in the NFC South?
And this young man's come a long way. You talk about him 3-4 years ago, then you're shaking your head and saying leadership is suspect. I don't know what's going on. But everything out of New Orleans is saying Spencer Rattler is doing his thing at these camps right now. He was a 5th round pick, 150th overall. And I look at this receiver room. You got Derek Carr, Jake Heener, Spencer Rattler, and then Taysom Hill. You call him whatever position that you want. But is this the path that the Seahawks are going to have to go down? Right? Find yourself a 5th round pick, maybe in a year or 2, have him learn under Geno or whoever's under center, and then see if you can develop him, because we know or we feel that this team isn't going to be bad enough to have a top 10 pick. I'm happy to hear that, because watching him on that Netflix special, I had no love for him. I wouldn't want my kids around him. I wouldn't want to be around him. I wouldn't want to coach this young man. So the fact that he's out there doing his thing, I saw some clips. Obviously, they're not going to show you too many team situations. He looks good, man. So I hope he's taking in all this knowledge from Derek Carr. Could he be the next guy up? We shall see. Alvin Kamara still has to get a deal done there. You still got Jamal Williams, too. That backfield could be on point. Looking at the Saints and saying, all right, man, this is a real opportunity to try and develop yourself an arm in Spencer Rattler and Jake Heener, man. I like him as well. So, no, it's good to hear a young man turning a corner and kind of getting rid of the things that we thought about him.
3rd down. Though you believe Mike Macdonald will have success on defense this year, why should there be a grace period?
There should be a grace period because he's got to learn these guys. He's a first-time head coach, not a first-time DC, but first-time head coach in the NFL. There are some things that need to happen. But I also saw a stat from Pro Football Focus. Baltimore, when he first got to Baltimore, had a 43% success rate in 2022 when it comes to his defense, allowing the offense to be successful. So that's gains of 40% or more on first down, 60% or more on second down, 100% or more on third downs, trying to get that first. No, they were the 5th worst in the league. So I see that and I go, okay, he eventually got this thing going. You don't think of Baltimore as a bad defense the past 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You don't. But this shows that it's not just plug and play. And he has some names over there, some dogs getting it done. But maybe there needs to be a bit of a grace period and say, we're looking for incremental improvements. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, we got a pick 6 the first game, 7 sacks at the quarterback, 10 quarterback hits. No, but you need to see some things. So seeing that number and understanding that he started from there and the way he left that Baltimore defense was crazy. So give a little bit of a grace period, but you do expect this defense to be better week 1 than they were last year.
That's a good way to say it, is like you'll like stuff you see. You expect to like some stuff you see week 1, but like it's not going to be the Baltimore Ravens defense week 1. I hate to break it to you.
Coming out and just holding a rusher, the team to 50 rushing yards. And I mean, let's be realistic.
But what did they do? 4th down.
That'd be great.
Then I'm not going to expect it for week 2. I'm going to be like, wow, what a cool anomaly. Why do you think the UFL was a huge success?
Man, I want to applaud the UFL, man. You guys did a great job. I watched a bunch of your games. The coverage was awesome. You got some knowledgeable guys on the sideline and in the booth. The championship game had 1.18 million people watching. Regular season average 860,000 people watching. That's a 30% increase. So obviously there's an interest in this league. And then you look at the guys just getting opportunities. You got Jake Bates, a guy who ain't kicked the ball since high school, going to the Detroit Lions. You got a linebacker, Willie Harvey, going to the Dallas Cowboys. Wide receiver Dawood Davis to the Panthers. You got D-tackle Jalen Redmond to the Minnesota Vikings. You got an old lineman, Liam Fernaldale, going to the New England Patriots. You got another old lineman, Geno Smith, going. This is what this league is for. So the viewership is up. That means you're putting out a product that people don't mind watching. You know, you got to have like a football twitch or be a football fiend to want to watch these games. But the fact that you got more eyes this year than last year means you're doing something right. And this is what this league is about, getting guys opportunities. I would also like to see how many coaches from this league are going to get opportunities in the NFL as well, because there's a nice little mix, man. You got Wade Phillips coaching the team over there. You got some other young guys. You got Tom Brady handing over the trophy. It seems like they're mixing the brands real smooth and nicely right now. I'm happy for everyone that's getting opportunities, and I'm glad people tuned in to watch this league because it is so necessary. So many guys I know when I was playing didn't get an opportunity or didn't make the team the first time around, had to go to Canada, sit there for 2 or 3 years, wait for your contract to end, and then hopefully get opportunity in the NFL. Here, you have one good year, you can bounce. You're out of there. So good job, all the involved with the UFL.
Someone texted in to tell you, just you, 253, 79 days until the NFL season kicks off, Bump.
That's my guy. He started that countdown at like 100 and something.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
You guys are already at 79?
Yep.
Oh, man. That doesn't, considering that, I think, what day this week? Like Wednesday or Thursday or Friday is the first day of summer. The first day of summer is just now happening.
Yeah.
It's wild to think the NFL season is less than 80 days away.
Let's go. Chamon.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. Did Jason Tatum rip off a title celebration last night? That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Jeffrey Passan joins us every Tuesday at 8:30.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
Can the Mariners win a World Series with their current 40-man roster?
Yes, that's how good their pitching is. And I believe in October, even though you're facing the teams that have the best lineups in the world, that the Mariners pitching can neutralize that. And they are so good in that ballpark. It is a horror show if you're coming into T-Mobile and you're another team right now.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Do you have a car you're thinking of selling? You want to get the most money for it, but you probably don't want to deal with the hassle of selling it yourself because it's annoying meeting some stranger in a grocery store parking lot after work so they can test drive your car and negotiate on a price. No, thank you. So here's why you should sell your car to my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They have a program that pays top dollar for your vehicle up front, and it gets even better. Because when Wayscar Ford resells your old car, they split the profit 50-50 with you. Why? Well, the money they save on auction buy fees, transportation costs, and travel expenses allows them to offer this. They'd much rather split that money with you, the customer, rather than outside services. But are they going to offer you less? It's a fair question, but no. In fact, they encourage you to shop and compare, but in virtually every case, Wayscar Ford's been able to match or beat competitor offers. So if you're looking to sell your car, make sure you do it at Wayscar Ford in Auburn and get paid twice for it.
On Saturday, July 6th, Jackson Smith and Jigba will host the Seattle All-Star Softball Classic, presented by Wade's Lifestyle at Cheedy Stadium, featuring your favorite athletes and celebrities. Tickets start at just $25. Go to SeattleAllStarClassic.com.
Oh, how nice is it to have these long days back? Mike Salk here, and it really does make waking up for this show at 4 a.m. a whole lot easier when it's already a little bit light outside. And then after work, maybe even sneak in 18 holes, all before that late sunset. Well, you know who else loves these long days? Riverside Roofing and all their customers. Long sunny days, that means they can turn around jobs more quickly. Have a roof project that you've been kicking around? Call Riverside Roofing and get on their schedule now. They're cranking out jobs all over Western Washington. I've heard from customers texting into the show who've trusted them, and I myself have been such a pleased, proud customer. The sooner you decide, the sooner you can have this project done, and additionally, you can handpick the best roofing company on the market. For me, that's Riverside Roofing. Go to riversideroofing.com RiversideRoofingLLC.com right now and get a quick quote on your project. It won't even take 60 seconds. It's Riverside Roofing, family-owned and Master Elite GAF certified. Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Enhance your range experience with Top Tracer at Jackson Park Golf Course, Jefferson Park, and Inner Bay in Seattle. Play virtual golf on some of the best courses in the world or compete against your friends. Save with a Top Tracer value card. Go to premiergc.com.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Wednesday, June 26th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him Wednesday, June 26th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You gotta love baseball season, but when it comes to your windows, you don't want any curveballs. Rizzs here, reminding you to trust your clubhouse with locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Experience the difference with high-quality products, expert installation, and top-notch customer service. It's always a home run with Pella. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Just go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
At Buc-ee's, we'll get you ready for summertime. For over 50 years, Buc-ee's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. Buc-ee's is the largest independent family-owned chain in the Northwest. There's a Buc-ee's just about everywhere for factory maintenance, oil changes, wiper blades, air conditioning, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, everything you need to get you running smoothly this summer. No appointment necessary, and financing's available too. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. What was dominating the timeline last night? That was, of course, the Celtics championship.
And now Dallas will dribble it out. This crowd on its feet, the best team in basketball all year. All the work, all the sacrifice, handling the enormous weight of massive expectations. Ends tonight here. It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
Jason Tatum, obviously one of the Celtics, the most important one, doing all the celebrating as he should, but might have been ripping off a few moments here. Now, Jason is just 26 years old, so maybe he was trying to honor Kevin Garnett's speech.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Or maybe he was trying for a viral moment of his own.
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it!
What's your ruling?
I get cringe, man.
It's cringe.
I watched it and I was like, okay, I see what you're doing there. These young athletes are so aware of the camera, of their image. I hope that this was just genuine and he was excited and, it came out that way. It just felt too familiar. Like you could have done anything else. And then he rushes to the locker room and he's taking pictures with the trophy and it feels like Kobe. And I'm like, dang, Tatum, just be yourself, man. But look, if this was a genuine moment for him, then so be it. I'm just going to say it because we're talking about it.
Yep.
It looked all too familiar. The post-game interview, the pictures in the locker room, it seemed staged. Maybe that's the hater in me. I don't know. Didn't feel right.
So then there was ripping off Corey Seager. Now, this is a little bit more complicated. Corey Seager actually referenced a line thrown out by Astros third baseman Alex Bregman, which was a line referencing Kanye West in an acceptance speech. Either way, this is Corey Seager from 2023 when the Rangers won the World Series.
I just got one thing to say. Everybody was wondering what would happen if the Rangers didn't win the World Series. I guess we'll never know.
And you guessed it, Jason Tatum last night.
I know everybody will wonder what would happen if we didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
So I'll give like a tiny bit of leeway here going, maybe he's referencing the original Kanye West line.
He definitely is.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's common now, I think, when a team does something
This
or
one
a
I let
person
slide.
gets an accolade. Accolade. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm not on him as tough as I am about the, what'd he say? We did it.
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it!
And the video is kind of cringe because it's a little forced. We did it again. Like, I am so happy for him as a person. Genuinely. I'm not like a Celtics fan, but so happy for him as a person. That's so much hard work. It's your life that you're dedicating to it, and you have it pay off in the biggest moment. There's just a little tiny bit of a cringe factor, and that's okay. People do cringy things, but I'll call it out.
Like, I covered my face and watched that clip between like two fingers, like just like, oh no, don't do it.
And he was so young during the original Kevin Garnett one that I wonder if he's like, no one remembers this.
2008.
And he's 26.
16 years ago.
Yeah,
so he was like 10. Okay, maybe we'll give him that. But you're growing up in an age where nothing is forgotten. Oh, you deleted a tweet? Nah, we still got that, homie.
Yeah.
Oh, you take down a video? Nah, we already copied that. It's different world he lives in.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's happening with Jason Tatum. Again, congratulations to Jason and the Celtics for everything that happened. But I will let him know, I'm sure he's aware, Twitter was making fun of him this morning for some of those comparisons. Next up, a mariachi band played between innings at the Mets-Rangers game in Arlington last night, and the song they chose, that would be Creed. Bumps dancing, bopping.
Beautiful.
It is kind of pretty.
It's kind of vibey,
Yeah. It's cold air. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like at peace right now.
The horns work with it.
Yeah, this is the moment when the whites and the browns came together at the game. Say, you know what?
This was
Let's
unity.
do this.
Yo, is this when we, I don't want to put it out there, but like solved racism?
This is it. This is when it ended. Right there.
Right here. This moment.
It was
which
smooth, though. That was smooth.
Right, I mean.
And everyone hates on that song. We all know this song.
Oh, yeah, you throw it on at a party, everybody's singing.
This is beautiful.
It is.
I can't
His
even
tone,
hate on
he's
it.
right in the pocket.
Yeah.
It's nice.
This is way better than the original version. Last story. Umpire Pat Hoberg's been suspended by MLB for violations of the league's gambling policy. Now, here's what's kind of weird. He's consistently graded among the best umpires in baseball since his debut in 2017.
Yeah, that's the weird part about this. There are a couple guys I would suspect. Who was the guy, Chris, the other night for the Mariners blew behind the plate? I would look him up immediately because I go, bro, where is the strike zone, man?
Why were you up at 3:30, bro? What were you doing?
Oh, but not this, man. He does a good job. So it's unfortunate that he's involved in something like this. And he's pretty young, 37 years old, I think he is. Yeah, this is bad for baseball, man. Who said it, that there are going to be more and more of these coming out here? Was it Nick Wright?
Yes.
Who said, like, look, over the years, this is going to start coming out. Betting is flooding the game right now. It's crazy, but you gotta get on this immediately. And what do you think should be? I mean, he should be banned for life if it's on some.
Oh, absolutely.
some
If it's on
shadiness,
baseball.
right?
Yeah. So he's appealing it right now. He's also denied betting on baseball from ESPN. The exact nature of the discipline's unknown, but he's not umpired a game this season. MLB did not indicate whether its investigation showed that he bet on baseball. So I'm once again kind of, you know what it is? I'm less clear on the policy for umps in terms of betting on sports in general.
Yeah.
Because with players, you think of Jameson Williams, who bet on college football games, and you're like, well, it's not like he's betting on his team or NFL games. And even if you're betting on your team to win, don't bet on your team and don't bet on that stuff. So I just want to say that as an aside. But when they're not betting on the actual sport that you're playing or reffing, I know people feel a little more.
Yeah, because you feel like you don't have a direct effect of the outcome. You're viewing it as a consumer, as a fan, and just saying this is what I think is going to happen. But they know the rules, man. Don't mess with gambling. There's some things that I can gamble on that I just don't, because I don't want anything to be confused. I don't want to see my name pop up on nothing.
Yep. In a statement, Hoberg said that he's appealing the decision, so he doesn't feel it's appropriate to discuss the case. But he says, I've devoted my adult life to the profession of umpiring, and the integrity of baseball is of the utmost importance to me. I look forward to the appeal process, and I'm grateful that the Major League Baseball Umpires Association is supporting me in the appeal.
They're always going to, man. What you mean?
Yeah.
They're going to ride with you until it's official. But hopefully it's a misunderstanding. Hopefully he comes out. He's clean, because he does a great job behind the plate.
Yeah, he had a perfect game.
Yeah, 2022 World Series 129. He was correct.
Didn't miss a call that
Didn't
day.
miss a single call. Yeah.
That's nuts. That's so hard to do.
Why do you think that we're seeing? You mentioned Nick Wright, and he is right. Nick Wright's point initially, Curtis, if you could find this out, we still have time to play. We got about a minute 30 here. But Nick Wright's point initially was, hey, we are going to find things out. There will be, here we go.
I think between now and 4 years from today, one of our major sports is going to have some type of gambling scandal. And I don't think it will involve a player. I think it will involve an official. And it's just tough. Like, none of the officials make millions of dollars.
Right.
And so while I said for a player, 40 grand is not going to move the needle, for someone who makes 150, 40 grand sure as hell might, you know what I mean? Pay off your car, pay off your mortgage. And so I think it's a tough spot. Now, I also think that gambling being legal makes it more likely you can catch that because it's not being done, in the shadows.
In the darkness. Yeah, it's been done in the light.
That second part's, to me, behind so many of players, and in this case, an umpire being caught, is your name shows up on an app.
Yep.
Shows up on something you can easily track.
Yep, and even if I would assume, even if you don't use your name, you use a cousin's name, a friend's name, or something. There are ways to where they'll find the connection and make this happen. Also, that's a great point, man. Just pay these guys more, man. I'm not saying it's an excuse, right? Temptation is temptation, and anyone can fall to it, and you know the rules, but when you are asking a guy to do $1 million job and paying him $150, $200 salary, he's more inclined to do it. So it's all messed up, man. You want perfection from these guys behind the plate and on the field and court, yet you're not paying them as if you value them like that. Therefore, other entities and influences can come in and get them in deep trouble. End of the day, you're a grown man, grown woman. Make the right decision, but no one's perfect. And I can definitely see more of this happening.
Lefko and Brock had Jeff Passan on this morning, and he said something really interesting, which is Brock asked him, can the Mariners win a World Series? Jeff said yes, but it doesn't mean they should try to go forward as currently constructed. It was a fascinating conversation. We are going to revisit it, and we're going to open up phone lines. So your question is going to be simple. Are the Mariners a World Series team, or are they missing something? 866-979-3776. Call now, 866-979-3776. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Your pitching will keep you in any game for the most part. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal rotation that you desperately need to take advantage of while it's here, while they're together. We've got 4 of the 5 who are in baseball dollars very cheap and very young right now. And you're only going to have that group together for so long. You're also in a year where the AL West is really down.
Probably more importantly, don't you think?
Yeah, the division is there for you to take.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Chill or grill on a new deck this season. Get a free Makita Bluetooth radio or portable pellet grill with a qualifying Par deck package purchase. But hurry, offer ends soon. Visit par.com for details. Par, your total home building source. Go where the builders go.
Tired of a boring backyard? State Roofing's expert team can help you create the perfect deck before summer hits. We'll make sure your deck is the envy of the neighborhood. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com for a free estimate. That's stateroofing.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and if you're getting ready for a fun night out, you know Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go and have a good time. They got Adam Carolla coming up Saturday, July 13th. You know Adam Carolla, comedian, actor, radio personality, television host, author, currently hosts the Adam Carolla Show, the Guinness Book of World Records for most downloaded podcast. And beforehand, go to Falls Buffet, back open, serving all your favorites. It is Seattle's closest casino, only 30 minutes from downtown, and online at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's ultimate speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is once again partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 3rd Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 12th, and the winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at woiseattle.org.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Players Spotlight.
Ever since I got here, I want to win a World Series in Seattle, and this city's starving for another winning team.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
It's Dave Wyman for R&R Foundation Specialist. Your home's foundation supports everything that sits on top of it. You know, the most common cause of a settling foundation is a condition in the soil called differential settlement. It goes back to inconsistent soil compaction when your home was first built, which in turn causes your entire home to bend and twist. And what you'll notice in your home when that occurs, sloped floors, bowed or cracked walls, or windows and doors that don't open and close properly. R&R Foundation Specialist raises and restores settling foundations by repositioning the load of your home onto steel piers that they drive deep into the ground. Then they gently lift it back into place with a hydraulic lift. It's a permanent solution to restore your home's foundation and its structural integrity. If you suspect your foundation is settling, do what I did. Have R&R Foundation Specialist come out for free. They'll identify the issue, and they will resolve it. Schedule your free estimate at rrfoundationspecialist.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
You are listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
My bad. Coming up at noon. Are the Mariners a World Series team? So maybe call in 10 minutes. Don't call yet. But that number is going to be 866-979-3776. Are the Mariners a World Series team? Do they need to add? First, before we get to it, we're going to talk about how the Mariners can make the most of a division lead. So, again, this sound was from Jeff Passan this morning. A great interview. It's on the Brock and Salk podcast. If you want to listen to the full interview, we're just playing cuts. First, Jeff talking about the notion that the Mariners have the biggest divisional lead with their run differential. He says it's wild, but here's what the run differential tells him.
They're only plus 19 this year. So what that tells me is they're clearly doing a good job in the situations where they need to. You don't have a plus 19 differential and a plus 12 one-loss record if you're not hitting in clutch moments and if you're not locking things down on the pitching end when you need to. So this has been a very impressive run by them, but they can't rest on their laurels because I still think that the Rangers are a good team, and I still think that the Astros have something in them, at least a small run perhaps.
Now, this is really what we're focusing on here. Jeff talking about how you add to it and what you do.
You don't sit around when you've gotten off to a start like this, when you are so good at home, and they are so good in that ballpark. Like it is a horror show if you're coming into T-Mobile and you're another team right now, because the energy there and the way that the Mariners play at home, you got to take advantage of that and build on that. And I think that's exactly what they're intending to do.
What do you make of Jeff saying you don't sit around when you have a lead like this? You build on it, and I think it's what they're intending to do.
Yeah. That means you add, right? But where are you going to add at this point? Is it a bullpen? Is it a bat? I think most people lean towards the bat. He also points out the home field advantage. I'm looking across the league. There's only one other team I can see with a better home record than the Mariners, and that is the Philadelphia Phillies at 28-10. The Mariners 27-12. So what do? You add. And he goes, well, with them being plus 19 and they're leading the division, it's crazy to me. What that tells him is that they're clutch, right? You're hitting in the right moments and you're sitting guys down in the right moments with your guys on the mound. That makes for a stressful season, but we're used to those here. I think close games is what this team has done. So how do you relieve that stress? You create bigger gaps in your wins. You win by 3, by 4 runs. You don't allow your bullpen to come out late, give up 3 or 4 runs late in the game, and then have to change your game plan when it comes from your arms or who you're going to use and moving guys around. You just play cleaner baseball. But this ain't a clean baseball type of team. The only thing clean about them is that you're probably going to get a quality start. You just take care of the rest. However you get it, so be it. But yeah, it's all about adding. You got to add to this team. I'm still with the bat situation. I like seeing you get some help from some young talent like Locklear as of late. But yeah, you go for the for sure thing, something that is more likely to succeed than most of what you have on your roster.
I like Jeff very specifically saying that it would be disappointing at this point if they didn't add.
I wish I could say that 9 games in the middle of June means anything, but if you just look at it from a very logical perspective, that's 3 games a month for the rest of the season. And losing 3 games a month, it's not a very difficult thing to do. So, the longer they maintain this lead, the more cushion they're building themselves for injuries and for teams within their division being aggressive at the trade deadline. But the reality is, I think the Mariners understand organizationally the position that they're in right now. It's a very strong one, and it's one that they want to add to. And if they don't add in a substantive way, it's going to be understandably disappointing.
I think all of that last part is true, Bump. Not only that it would be disappointing if they didn't add, but that the Mariners understand that. And I think sometimes we get kind of like a Debbie Downer and maybe lose some faith. And I think that's completely understandable when you're an organization that has this franchise's history. So I've seen plenty of texts, do you really think they want to win? Yeah, I do. I think, though, that they've been hesitant to take a lot of big swings because of the misses that might be felt for a club that doesn't see themselves as being able to afford it. I, though, instead of feeling like reassured about them with this lead, feel even more pressure. What about you?
Yeah, you might feel a bit more pressure. In correction, actually, they're going to Cleveland. Cleveland's 21-8 at home, so their record's pretty dope. You have to always be in the pursuit of greatness. If you are still in the game at this point of the year, like the Oakland A's ain't looking for greatness. Angels ain't looking for greatness. White Sox ain't looking for greatness. There's about 7 to 10 teams that say, all right, what's the next level? What takes us to the next stage? And it's such a hard thing to pinpoint at times because every day, dang near, there are opportunities for teams to change your mind about how to approach your team and how to build them. But I think the one thing that remains consistent is that I think getting the bats is in the lead, but then you can look at the bullpen and all these other positions and say, okay, I understand if they were to go this way. This is a pressure they've never felt before. This is a pressure upstairs has never felt before. They've never been in this position. So we talked to, we'll talk to him later, assistant manager, Andy McKay.
Oh, Andy, yeah.
And, I'm interested to hear how he views this team. And because I think once you start asking the right questions to the right people, then you'll start getting some insight and you can kind of lean towards the direction you think that they're going to go. But this is a foreign place for all these guys. And it's a fun place to be because you've never been here before, but it also, I think, can bring some uncertainty because you just don't know how to respond in a position you've never been in before. So who do you rely on? Who are you talking to? And how are these players going to continue to perform? It's a fun place to be in, but a weird place at the same time.
Well, and there's understandably a lot of nerves that some fans have, right? Seattle has not made a ton of huge moves. The last big trade they made was for an arm, Luis Castillo. So when I mentioned trading for a bat, I have a listener texting in saying, well, the last big trade they made was Robinson Cano. Happy to see him come here. I was even happier to see him leave. So I think that there's still some anxiety that some people have, even though it was a different front office, with taking a huge risk on someone. Now, that wasn't like a midseason trade. That was just a huge signing. But we're going to turn it over to you guys. Give you the mic. It's your chance to talk to Mariners fans listening. Are the Mariners a World Series team? And if not, well, how would you make them one? 866-979-3776. Congratulations, your Mariners GM. Sorry to Justin. He's taking the day off. He's taking a vacation. Maybe he's giving you the reins here. Are the Mariners a World Series team? And if not, how would you make them one? 866-979-3776. Call now.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball. Every strikeout.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Bryce Miller, 7 scoreless today.
Every home run.
Grab on, get out the right, Brennan Mustard. It is Brad Salami time. A walk-off grand slam.
Every Mariners win.
And the Mariners win it in an amazing comeback here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Stream every game at seattlesports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Tingling and numbness or burning pain in the feet or hands are warning signs of peripheral neuropathy. For years, Sound Pain Solutions has helped thousands using our innovative, narcotic-free approach. Now we're excited to introduce our most powerful treatment yet. I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. We've discovered a new bioelectrical treatment that produces remarkable results. Studies show 85% of neuropathy sufferers report a 50% reduction in pain. Our new therapy can reduce pain and regenerate damaged nerves. It's performed by medical providers and naturopathic physicians. It's a breakthrough treatment that has changed the lives of thousands who suffer from nerve pain. At Sound Pain Solutions, all our therapies are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, and narcotic-free. Learn if you qualify for our new neuropathy treatment. Schedule a free consultation by visiting soundpainsolutions.com. soundpainsolutions.com.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Experience firsthand the innovative spirit and vibrant culture of Washington at the Washington Brewers Festival. 2 days of tasty food and beverages paired with great entertainment. The Washington Brewers Festival is June 22nd and 23rd at Seattle Center. Learn more and get tickets now at WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. That's WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. Use promo code Seattle Sports for 10% off. The Washington Brewers Festival. Join in for this incredible Washington tradition.
Mike Salk here for RiversideRoofingLLC.com, where you can enter your address and receive a hassle-free quick quote on your roof replacement within seconds. Do it this spring and save time, money, and get your project done at RiversideRoofingLLC.com, the roofing company you can trust.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy, that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Well, we were all hoping for good news from the feds, but without any rate cut in sight, Americans are still paying crazy high rates on credit cards and other loans. Don't wait for things to get worse. If you're struggling, act now. Hey, this is Brock Ewart for my friends at Tila Mortgage. Contact Tila for information on their home equity line of credit, or HELOC. With a HELOC, you can consolidate high interest bills into one lower, manageable payment while keeping your current low fixed rate first mortgage. Tila's been helping Washingtonians consolidate debts for over 25 years, and they're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages too. Take control of your finances and improve your monthly cash flow. Don't let debt payments control your life. Call Tila Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
TilaMortgage.com. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
All right, the Mariners back on the road. They're opening a series against the Cleveland Guardians. It's Bryce Miller against Tristan McKenzie. First pitch is at 3:40 p.m., almost a matinee. Pre-game show starts at 2:30 p.m. We've got a Mariners roster move this morning. Ty France back with the club after being placed on the 10-day IL to nurse a right heel fracture. In a corresponding move, Sebi Zavala has been designated for assignment.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is Bump and Stacy
On Seattle Sports.
streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
You know, sometimes I think the Mariners' playoff drought is lost even on people who experienced it. We have a listener from the 206, never been here before. Were y'all not alive in 2001? Were you 2 years old? We're not 2 years old, but all of us were children.
Yeah.
Like single-digit ages or like 10, 11.
No.
Either way. Okay, either way, all of us were kids. 2001 was 20-plus years ago, fam.
This particular group has never been there before.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
This management, this roster, haven't done it.
So that's what I meant when I was initially saying, like, even though it was a different group and a different front office, but also in terms of, hey, you've never been here before. That was my first time experiencing playoff baseball that I remember. And I think sometimes it's lost on people that you can be in your 30s and that the drought will have been that long. Yeah. I have friends that in the time the Mariners didn't go to the playoffs, grew up, got married, had kids, and are grown.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, young people have it. No. My knees hurt. My knees hurt, and I've seen a playoff series. Okay, let's head to the phone lines. We're making you guys GM for the day. Congratulations on your promotions. Unless one of you were GM of the Mariners before. Who knows if Justin's calling? Are the Mariners a World Series team? And if not, how would you make them one? 866-979-3776. You can be as broad or specific as you want. Maybe you just want to say out of bat. Maybe you have a specific name. Maybe you think they're a World Series team right now. So know that you can be a little flexible, a little creative with your answers. Again, that number, 866-979-3776. Lisa calling from L.A. Lisa, what do you think?
I think ownership's not going to cough up the money for a bat. I think they need a bat. And I think that ownership has proved themselves over and over again to hide behind being a group. If you think about that leaked tape a couple years ago when that guy that got fired was talking about how ownership cares about parking structure revenues and that as long as they got people come to the stadium, what do they care? They're not going to invest. And then think about Cal Raleigh's news conference last year when he talked about ownership. I think Jerry does all that he can. I think Jerry and Scott are amazing. And by the way, Bump and Stacy, I love you guys. Listened to you for a long time. I'm a Seattle. I went to games at the Kingdome. That's how long I've been a fan. I live in L.A., but I'm born and raised in Seattle. So I'm just worried that ownership is not going to cough up the money, and we're going to be holding empty bag again.
Thanks for the call, Lisa. I think a lot of people feel how Lisa feels. What about you?
That's the dangerous part about this is because people can see ownership sitting back and being like, told you, we're fine. We don't need much. We just keep this up and we're going to be okay. And you could be okay. That is complacency is dangerous. I don't think they're complacent. I don't think that they're looking at the way everything is going and saying, just continue to do this. I think they're looking at the way things are going and saying, we're getting better. We might not need as big of a bat as we thought we needed 2 months ago. That's the dangerous part. So I'm with Lisa. I think there's a chance that maybe they don't because they believe in the guys that are already here.
I completely agree. And the only thing giving me solace, I guess, and maybe it shouldn't, and maybe I'm naive, is that Seattle Times interview with John Stanton saying we expect to win the West and we're open to giving a big contract to homegrown talent. Now, this wouldn't be a bat they added. This would be like they're open to paying Cal, right? But it creates, at the very least, a road of accountability, right? Where, let's say the Mariners bomb. They don't trade. They don't add. Strikeouts catch up. The bad offense catches up. Maybe you lose an arm, whatever. You don't make the playoffs. Well, now at the end of the year, you can say, hey, John, you said that you expected to win the AL West. What now? You didn't. You know what I mean? So it creates a road of accountability.
He's going to support these guys, too.
Right.
Management will support them.
So at the trade deadline, if they don't make a move, hey, John said he'd support you guys. Did you not find a bat you liked, or did you not find a deal you wanted to make? Like, it, at the very least, creates something for reporters to hang on to when they ask those questions, which I guess I'm kind of clinging on to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's transparency. I just wish we can get more, but we're not going to get more.
I agree. All right. Back to callers. Let's go to Robert in Issaquah. Are the Mariners a World Series team? If not, GM Robert, how would you make them one?
I don't think they are. But before I begin, I'd like to kind of disagree with Lisa in L.A. John Stanton has a history of going after players, and I am no John Stanton fan. But I am tired of hearing like, oh, he doesn't spend. He doesn't spend. I was just looking at some of the spending that he's actually done for the Seattle Mariners when he became even minority owner with Nintendo. They were spending. But right now, Jerry DiPoto wanted to build a farm system with homegrown our talent, not always having a crappy pitching system. Now look at our pitching. We just need a couple of pieces, a hitter, a veteran hitter, and maybe a veteran kind of like a Seawald reliever, and we're there. Look at what we did to the Yankees. In the beginning, I was telling my wife she's a huge Mariner fan and a Yankee fan. Oh, it's going to be a two-headed monster. It's Baltimore and Cleveland and maybe the Yankees. And then look at the Yankees all of a sudden just come alive, three-headed monster. But then who is there silently just chopping away, winning series after series? Our beloved Seattle Mariners. I've been a Seattle Mariner fan since 1978. I will stand by these guys. I will criticize these guys, but no way will I call them cheap. They're not cheap. They're smart, and they're building something for the future, and I love it, man. We are a World Series piece with a decent hitter and a reliever. Hey, thank you for your call, or taking my call, and great show, you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks,
okay,
Robert.
so Robert says, A, I disagree with Lisa. I don't think they're cheap. I just think that they wanted Jerry to rebuild. 2, as far as what they'd add, at least one more bat and a reliever, maybe even like a Seawald type guy. Like you don't need this, peak closer. Bring in like an 8th inning dude. What do you think?
I'm a bit confused with Rob there. He says Stanton has shown that he will spend money. Spend money on Castillo. I guess spend money on Ray. I almost call him Ray Roberts.
Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray.
So, I mean, close.
I guess he spent on Robbie Ray. Throw Cano in there as well.
Yeah, in 2010, 12.
All right. So, because I'm trying, when he says they're not cheap and they have spent, I'm racking my brain and saying, okay, where have they spent the big money? They did lock down Julio Rodriguez for a while. But I think people are looking at just the complete roster, not just these big signings. They're looking and saying, all right, you need the big boy signings, but you also need like some second tier signings as well, which will bolster up your salary cap and show that you're willing to spend. Because when you just look at what they're spending right now, they're out of the top 12, out of the top 13. So it's hard for me to see those numbers and then talk about these moves that were made 3-4 years ago, then 10 years ago, and say, well, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
I just don't see his logic behind that.
I think Rob is defending the idea that the Mariners don't spend at all by saying they have. And I appreciate Rob's call and his time listening. And thank you, Rob, again.
Yeah.
Where I disagree is that they're doing enough of it.
Yeah.
And I am not calling for the Mariners to be, they're not a top 10 market. I don't think they need to be top 10 spending, even though that does typically, lead to more postseason appearances or success because you have more stars. But if you're a number 12 market and you're spending like 20, which granted is not where they are right now, then I'm wondering, like, well, okay, what are you doing? Are you waiting for stuff to develop?
Damn near 20.
They're 17th, and well, then yeah, exactly, yeah. So, yeah, disagree with Rob a little bit, but I wonder if Rob's defending the idea that they don't spend at all. So I don't know. I don't think
impossible. I mean, you trying not to spend. Go into Oakland, $62 million. Payroll.
I don't think they've spent as much as they can, and I think that they are a club that has been a little conservative because some big swings, like Robbie Cano, didn't work out.
And business is good.
Yeah.
I can see if no one was showing up to the ballpark and not buying merchandise and all that. I think that's where people get frustrated.
And we're so used to a club not spending that it's like, oh, they spent big money on Julio, and it's like, you're absolutely right. What now? You got George, you got Logan, you got Cal. Like, who are you hanging on to? You're going to need to spend some more. Let's go. Again, number is 866-979-3776. Let's go to Scott in Redmond. Scott, are the Mariners a World Series team? If not, how would you make them one?
Well,
At this point, I would say no. I don't think we have the offense to go up with the elite teams in a showdown. We have the pitching, but you never know. But I've listened to all the other callers call in, and I'm going to go a different direction here because you've got two people on the Mariners, position players, not pitchers now. I want you to remember position players. Cal Raleigh and Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore is a Swiss Army knife. He's cheap. You got him. Cal Raleigh's come through the farm system. In the last 20 years, the Mariners have had 1,000 draft picks. And the best position player you got out of the last 20 years was Kyle Seager, and he was solid. Other than Griffey, Edgar, and A-Rod, we haven't drafted and developed anybody. We keep talking about prospects. Oh, yeah, we got this down on the farm. We got it down on the farm, but they're not up here providing support for the club. I mean, this has gone on a long time now. I mean, if I'm wrong, I apologize. Chuck Knox, which was a football coach for the Seahawks, once said, potential is a coach killer. And I am a Seahawks fan and a Mariner fan. My first game was Seattle Pilots, Washington Senators at Six Stadium, which now is Lowe's right down Rainier Avenue.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm a little older than you guys. You know, the diehard fan. And Brock and everybody knows me. Stacey, you know, I get on the radio. But anyway, I appreciate your time. And that's what I said. It comes with drafting.
Yeah.
You know, look at football. You can't miss. I mean, I just gave you the numbers. And if you can name anybody in between there, remember, Julio Rodriguez was signed as a free agent, international free agent. Felix Hernandez, free agent. Ichiro, free agent. So there's nobody we really brought up through that maybe tips the iceberg that's really been here other than Kyle Seager.
Thanks for the call. Saying like other Mariners, a World Series team, need some bats, need to trade prospects.
Yeah, for sure. I'm most comfortable going to the farm and saying, what do we have? What are they worth? What can we get from these young guys? I love what he said, potential is a coach killer. Heck yeah, potential is. Mm-hmm. It's about results. And right now, you've been able to put up some pretty dang good results with a run differential that will not hold up in any other division. So far, you've been able to hold off the Rangers and the Astros. You've beaten them head-to-head. You fought them off going against the other competition. But at some point, you got to start looking around the league and seeing what's going on and look at the Yankees and the Orioles and Cleveland and Kansas City. I mean, these guys ain't going nowhere. And you think they're sitting back and saying, we're good enough, let's good to go? I guarantee you the Yankees are looking to make a move. And they got 50 dang wins this year. They're still looking to make a move. I guarantee you Baltimore's looking to make a move. So it's a race. It's a race for arms. And we just want these guys to be in that race. And you have to go after guys when you're the most attractive. This is the most attractive this team has been in a long time.
Yeah, that's facts. Let's go to Don in Yakima. Don, how would you make the Mariners a World Series team?
Well, I think they are a World Series team right now, and I think they need the hitting and the pitching and the defense. If we'd have to give up way too much to get a hitter that's really a really good hitter.
Yeah.
And we can go get a veteran guy who hits singles, things like that. That's okay. We need a relief pitcher too. We need maybe a couple more relief pitchers just to help because we're not sure how Munoz is going to hold up and if the guy from Chicago is ever going to be able to pitch for us. So anyway, and 6 Seattle Stadium, I played there in 1965. I was a left fielder for the Lincoln High School team. We were city champions. So I want to put that in there too.
Thanks, Don. Congratulations on that one. Don saying, well, you need a reliever, so you certainly need to add that. But he's not confident that the bats are going to be available. Also, maybe not super feeling great about giving up what it would take to get a Luis Robert.
Why? I mean, we don't know what those guys are going to do. We've seen Tyler Locklear look great. We don't know what he's going to look like in a month. You know, there are only a few guys on this team that you can lean on. And the reason why we lean on them is because we've seen them for 3, 4, 5 years. I think when you're dealing with the young guys, those are the ones you take the risk on because most likely they're not going to work out the way that you hope they work out. You want everyone to be an all-star, have a great career, play for 10 to 15 years, get paid and be all good. Most careers don't work out. So I'm all about gambling with those guys. It's unfortunate because, they're young men. You know, I'm sure some hope to play for the Mariners one day and put on the uniform consistently. But this is the business. It's just business. It's not personal. I'd rather go with the youngsters.
Let's go to Kevin in Puyallup. Kevin, are the Mariners a World Series team? If not, how would you make them one?
I think they're close. They have I think we focus on the bats, but we've seen a lot of bats come into town and not produce. That have produced elsewhere. Like getting a legit closer that we can depend on would be huge. Seawald back would obviously be nice, but I'd like to comment on the previous caller who said that Ken has spent money in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that they spend money to keep fans in the stands, like just enough, right? Like we got Cano, the rest of the team wasn't real legit. I mean, it's exciting players at times when maybe they know we don't really have a shot at the playoffs or a World Series, and now that we seem to have a shot, like we'll spend just enough to keep it interesting. I don't know. It's just my thought.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Kevin. And I'll say, Kevin, you're not alone. I think quite a few people on the Mac and Jacks text line were disagreeing with the idea that they spend. So let's talk about just the very first part. A lot of people focusing on bullpen arms, Bump. I know that you and I have talked a ton about Luis Robert, maybe Pete Alonso. Are you going to go and make a deal, try to get Vlad if the Blue Jays are willing to part ways with him? Could they ever? I don't know. But it seems like the most common answer is please get a bullpen arm.
Yeah, and that's because you don't have the guys that you thought you were going to have. Brash isn't there. Santos isn't there. And then you see some of the struggles when Brazzardo?
Oh, Bizzardo.
Bizzardo.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Bizzardo's in there. You see the struggles. And it's almost like you decide on what to focus on, right? What flaw do you want to focus on? Some people choose the bullpen. Some people choose the bat because, honestly, they take turns showing up. It's like, all right, for a week the bullpen is good, then they fall off a bit, and for a while the bats are good for a series or two, then they fall off. It's timing is everything. So what is this team going to be like on July 28th, July 27th?
Mm-hmm.
Like what are we going to be talking about? How healthy are they going to be? Who's going to be hot? Who's going to be cold? There's still a lot to figure out.
All right, let's go to Matt, who's been on hold the longest? Okay, we're going to go to Bryant and Lacey. Bryant, are the Mariners a World Series team? If not, how would you make them one?
Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
It is for us. For some of us, it is.
Did Stacy wear teal?
I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
We've
gotten to the point now where a caller is the first one to note it. Bryant, I don't know why you had. You know what? We can hang up on Bryant. Okay, Bryant, how do the Mariners become a World Series team?
I don't think they are. They need a bat and they need an arm, as everybody seems to have pointed out. And when I say a bat, I'm talking about a guy who's under 30 years old and whose name I know. I don't want to have to Google the guy's name the minute we make the trade. I want a Vlad Guerrero Jr., a Luis Roberts, even a Christian Walker from Arizona. Somebody who's not going to platoon, who's going to take up a spot in the lineup every day, and who's going to produce. And then for a bullpen arm, I think that if we get Santos back, I don't think we need a super high leverage bullpen arm, but I do think we need somebody who's going to be able to stabilize, maybe the seventh or eighth inning. And who's a bit of a workhorse who we can throw out there every day so that we can save some of those leverage arms for more high caliber, stressful situations.
Like the call, Bryant, and I'll throw out, when did we have Ryan Rowland-Smith on? Was that Friday? Thursday last week, Ryan Rowland-Smith joined us. And if you guys go back and listen to the podcast, it'll say Ryan Rowland-Smith on the hour. And he had some good stuff to say about the type of arm that he wanted to see. And he kind of echoed Bryant's point. So Bryant, you might find that one interesting, or that interview interesting. But the idea of like what kind of bullpen arm you need, I'm blanking on the name, but he pointed to a name that will not be available at the deadline. But basically, find this kind of guy.
Do you remember what kind of guy it was?
It was that guy. It was like, you don't need this high leverage closer. You don't need to go get the best closer. You don't need to go. Yeah, it was like you need to find a guy that can just eat up some innings. Maybe he's a seventh or maybe an eighth inning guy. But
you need another sauce out there.
Exactly.
Another sauce.
Yep. Let's see. We got some time for a couple more here. Let's go to Matt in Kent. Matt, are the Mariners a World Series team? If not, how do they become one?
No, I definitely. Well, not definitely, but I don't think they're there yet. I think they need some hitter. They need 2 hitters, but not your big name hitter. Definitely not the guy from Chicago, Robert. If he's a high strikeout guy and he can't stay on the field, it's a waste of time.
Okay, so you want to get guys where it's like contact hitters. They don't need to be big home run hitters.
Yeah,
they
like
just hit for contact.
I know the 300 hitter. It seems like, you don't find many of those guys anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I got 2 guys that are between 290 and 300, high contact guys, low strikeout, and that just, I guess you would say they spray the ball line to line.
Yeah. All right.
Singles, doubles. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Matt. So Matt's like, look, I don't need Pete Alonso. I don't. He strikes out a ton. I know he's got all those home runs. I don't want him. I want a guy that's going to come in here and be Josh Rojas.
We already got one.
Well, I know,
We
but
already got several of those. I get what he's saying, though.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side. I think
you want that home run hitter.
What surprises this year so far is that they are hitting with as much power as they are when it comes to home runs.
I
top
agree.
10 in MLB. We did not expect that. This team was designed to be the type of team and have the players that he just described, teams that just put it in play and let's see what happens. So I can see his logic. If you're already getting that type of production, you're already hitting bombs at a rate that you weren't expected to do at. All right, let's go ahead and get you one that slaps it all across the yard. Me personally, no, I'm still all about driving in runs. And how do you do that? You get sluggers. And guys who just slap it across the yard are not your sluggers.
You're like our caller previously who said, I want to be under 30 and I want to know his name.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to be a guy that hits a lot of home runs. Let's go to Evan in Puyallup. Evan, are the Mariners a World Series team? If not, how do they become one?
I don't think so, sadly. I'm very, very intrigued to see what happens. I'm kind of the type of person that, doesn't have a lot of faith in our front office. Personally, I don't know if it's front office or more of ownership, but I'm really interested to see if they actually, for once, really make a push and show us that the chips are on the table and they're looking to go all in and actually make a move. I'd love to see them get 2 quality hitters. Personally, I don't want Roberts. I don't think he's that good. He had one pretty good year, and other than that, he's been hurt, and I'm not interested in him. I don't want him at all. I'd love a relief pitcher. I would want Vlad Guerrero Jr. is the person. I would want somebody that's like a Julio Rodriguez where you know what you're going to get. They're consistent. He's hit very well in Seattle. I'd like to get some quality players at the position, and I don't really care about our farm system. We're trying to win. I'm not trying to just see what happens 5 years from now.
Thanks for the call, Evan. I don't know why it made me laugh. And I don't really care about our farm system. Although I'm not mad at the idea. Like, I care about the farm system, but I'm so used to hearing the opposite approach where it's like, and the Michael Jordan, blank those kids.
Well, you develop them to ship them off. Honestly, that's the approach the Mariners have taken.
What do you think? So we don't have, we've got like 10 seconds. I'm not going to be able to take another caller, but I do have time to ask you one last question, Bump, which is, what do you make of people who do prefer Vlad over Luis Robert?
I understand why. It's availability, and that's what Vladdy Dottie has been so far this year, batting .284, 7 bombs, 30 RBIs, 776 OPS. I think people look at Luis Roberts' numbers, and some maybe don't dive deep and say, all right, well, he hasn't been available. That's why his numbers look like that. Again, he is a guy, like one of our callers said, a potential kills coaches. And I'm looking at Luis Roberts and saying, but I like that potential because last year he had 38 of them things.
So that's real potential that it was at one point. It's not just potential. It's like half potential, half results.
If he can stay healthy, he can potentially
he can
put
do
this
it.
together.
Shout out to Mike and Adam, whom we did not get to today, but wanted to call you guys out. Thank you so much for calling. I'm sorry you had to wait and we didn't get to your calls, but we appreciate you guys for even picking up the phone and calling in. That's not easy. All right, coming up next, this is interesting. The NFL is asking award voters to reconsider the criteria used for Comeback Player of the Year. Don't go anywhere.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Jeffrey Passan joins us every Tuesday at 8:30.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
Can the Mariners win a World Series with their current 40-man roster?
Yes, that's how good their pitching is. And I believe in October, even though you're facing the teams that have the best lineups in the world, that the Mariners pitching can neutralize that. And they are so good in that ballpark. It is a horror show if you're coming into T-Mobile and you're another team right now.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Shannon O'Kelly from IRG, and Wednesday, June 26th, we're hosting a free live webinar to talk all about stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
Which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join us Wednesday, June 26th at 6 p.m. and learn all about stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. Register for our free live webinar at irgpt.com/events. irgpt.com/events.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here. I recently met with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, to talk about a metal roof which can last twice as long as ordinary shingles. Asset Roofing is seeing a huge push in the market for metal roofing. They create each metal roof at their headquarters, custom to each job, and that allows them to offer metal roofs with up to a 30% discount over their competitors. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work is never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house. Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and if you're getting ready for a fun night out, you know Snoqualmie Casino is just the place to go and have a good time. They got Adam Carolla coming up Saturday, July 13th. You know Adam Carolla, comedian, actor, radio personality, television host, author, currently hosts the Adam Carolla Show, the Guinness Book of World Records for most downloaded podcast. And beforehand, go to Falls Buffet, back open, serving all your favorites. It is Seattle's closest casino, only 30 minutes from downtown, and online at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino.
Rick Rizzs here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Experience firsthand the innovative spirit and vibrant culture of Washington at the Washington Brewers Festival. 2 days of tasty food and beverages paired with great entertainment. The Washington Brewers Festival is June 22nd and 23rd at Seattle Center. Learn more and get tickets now at WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. That's WashingtonBrewersGuild.org. Use promo code Seattle Sports for 10% off. The Washington Brewers Festival. Join in for this incredible Washington tradition.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Comeback player of the year this past season was Joe Flacco, right? Who literally came back to the league and then was having amazing games for Cleveland, helped lead them to the playoffs. Comeback player of the year prior was Geno Smith, who came back to being a starter and a Pro Bowler after having his career basically ended as a starter back with the Jets. Well, the NFL, I don't know that they love that. They're asking award voters to reconsider the criteria used for Comeback Player of the Year, according to Rob Maddie. He says, here's the criteria we will ask voters to consider starting this season for AP Comeback Player of the Year. The spirit of the AP Comeback Player of the Year award is to honor a player who has demonstrated resilience in the face of adversity by overcoming illness, physical injury, or other circumstances that led to him to miss playing time the previous season.
So Joe Flacco not being on a team and being at the house.
Apparently.
In a circumstance that...
I thought that was an amazing story.
Like,
I mean, granted,
come on, man.
DeMar Hamlin, who literally died and came back to life, did not get it, which I get. But Joe Flacco still had an amazing comeback.
Okay, I recant. Hamlin should have got that thing.
He really should have.
He should have got that thing.
he really
Hamlin. But I understand it, and that's the way that I understood the award originally. But then when I saw Geno got it right,
yes,
I saw Geno get it, and I go, okay, well, he's coming back from the league, just doubting him and making him a backup. No, I get it. I understand it. But it was fun while it lasted. Nice seeing Geno and Joe Flacco get their thing. But, yeah, the spirit of the award should be someone coming back from injury, illness, or something like that.
The other nominees the year Geno got it, Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey, both of whom were coming back from injury. Saquon's more significant.
Christian McCaffrey was number what, his back injury?
Was his like a constant hamstring that kept him sidelined, or was that the back injury?
Yeah, there's something was up with him. I don't think that was that warranted the comeback player.
Yeah, those three were the finalists, though. But again, Geno was the story. He was. With Saquon, the story in 2022 was like, oh my God, look at the Giants. Saquon's having a great year. Daniel Jones is part of it. The Giants are having this amazing. But then Brian Daboll won Coach of the Year, and it was kind of in recognition of what that team was doing. I didn't mind Geno. I'm being biased, but I didn't mind that story. And were DeMar Hamlin not in this group of candidates for 2023, I wouldn't have minded Joe Flacco.
The worst thing that happened to the Giants was Daboll winning Coach of the Year because he convinced them to drop money on Daniel Jones, and now look at you. Saquon is gone, and Drew Lock will be your starter.
The Seahawks rookies will report to training camp on July 17th. Vets will report July 23rd, but that is not the Seahawks story that I think you will love most today, Bump. This is it. The Seahawks are adding a running back from the UFL. Per NFL reporter Aaron Wilson, Birmingham's Ricky Person Jr. will sign with Seattle. He ran for 100 yards in this past weekend's UFL championship game. From the Dynasty. The UFL Dynasty, yes. Birmingham
Stallions. Championship experience.
That's exactly right.
Straight up Dynasty.
More rings than a lot of people in the NFL.
He went to North Carolina State. Big ups Matt Chasnow, who's now the voice over there. Yeah, this is what this league is about. The messed up part about this whole situation is he probably ain't going to make the team, but he will get an opportunity to get in some preseason games, maybe sneak on the practice squad. I mean, who knows? But another opportunity for a guy that deserves it, I'm all for it.
Can we get back to the comeback player of the year thing? Because I have 2 listener texts that I want you to respond to.
Yep.
Joe in Bellevue. Doesn't comeback player mean you have to be good in the first place? Does it?
No. It means you came back from a major injury. You came back from an illness. No, you don't have to be good. You came back from something. Came back from illness.
And it depends. Geno was a starter with the Jets. He was a second-round pick that was drafted and was supposed to be their guy. Had a huge fall from grace. A lot of it his own doing. Fall from grace, spent years as a backup, and then was a starter again and a Pro Bowler. Joe Flacco has won a Super Bowl. He was a starter. It didn't have like a fall from grace per se, but just kind of aged out, got hurt. It wasn't in the league, wasn't hanging on to his job, and moved on, and then came back to being a fill-in starter for a team that went to the playoffs. So I think it's all relative. But it's a fair question. Like, if a third-string tight end plays in one game, breaks his leg, comes back, and has a 400-yard season, are you a comeback player of the year?
You are. Your thing was twisted up. You came back from an injury.
Are you?
They should have an old man bounce back award for like the Flaccos. Like it's the bounce back award.
Oh, they should.
Yeah.
They should call it like a rejuvenation or like a resurgence award. You know what I mean? Like this is the award for like the old heads only.
Yep.
You got to be pre-94. No, pre-90.
It moves up every year like the tobacco and alcohol.
Yo, listen to me. When I go to the grocery store and I look at that little number.
Don't even look
What
at
is it at right now? 20, you had to have been born before 2003?
Sure.
It'll be now. I've never felt older than when I see that.
I remember when it said 86.
Yes. Next up. Commanders' new running back, Austin Ekeler, spoke to Kay Adams about when he knew he wouldn't be returning to the Commanders. Take a listen.
I think you can kind of see kind of how they've been building the team so far this offseason. Went out and drafted, a tackle first round, brought in some bigger backs over from Baltimore. And so it's like, hey, they want a guy that can hand the ball off to 300 times a year. And look, I haven't had that capacity to do that. That's not my game. That's not how Austin Ekeler is going to be the best on the field. So there was the misalignment there, which no harm, no foul. I'll go find somewhere else where I can, add value, where Austin can be the best version of myself out there.
Now, Austin, I need you to stop talking.
In the third person.
Yeah, but also he wanted a guy, they wanted a guy that could hand the ball off to 300 times a year. It's just not my game.
5'9", 200. Heck no, it ain't his game.
No.
Put that man in danger like that. He's got years we carried for 206 for 911 yards, 12 touchdowns. 204 for 915 and 13 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, don't trip. We're also going to throw you the football as well. Had 107 receptions on one of those years. He had 200 touches. I mean, yeah, he's making business decisions. He was an undrafted free agent, makes the team, is a Pro Bowler. He has earned this right to put himself in a position where he can have the most success. 5'9", 200. He should not be running between the tackles 300 times.
He was such a snub that year. I can't believe it. And I kind of get it because the year that he was snubbed from a Pro Bowl, it was like Christian McCaffrey was out of this world. And you had, was Derrick Henry balling out that year? He might have been injured. That might have been the year where he ran for 1,000 yards like halfway through the season. And we thought he was going to go 2K again. But yeah, he's in one of those complicated positions where you're not going to lead the league in rushing, but you might lead in total touchdowns, or you might lead in touches or whatever. But it's just, there's no formula for recognizing that right now. So.
I just want to point out a hater. You should not say this. 206. Problem I have with Hamlin is that he didn't really play in order to make a comeback. He died.
He died, bro.
He died. And he's here now.
He did play.
He did,
He appeared in some games.
Look, my man had to come back from the afterlife. He literally came back and appeared in another game. And I think that that's also extenuating circumstances. It is rare that any backup anywhere. Comeback player of the year is almost always someone who was a starter. Again, the point I was making about Joe and Geno, at one point they were starters. At one point they were starting quarterbacks. One had a huge fall from grace that lasted years as a backup, and the other one just aged out, played out of the league. But it is atypical to be like a backup safety who then, appears on special teams the following year and gets awarded for it. But this, if ever there were circumstances to recognize it, it would be this one.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, we are heading to what I need to know already. I know it's 12:45. That is because we are becoming the Dugout. So at 1 p.m., we're going to be joined by Mariners assistant GM Andy McKay. We're going to take a look around the NFL, all Mariners 1 to 2. Before we get to any of it, though, we got to answer your questions. So send any question you have to the Mac and Jacks text line now, 866-979-3776.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is the one, the only John Morosi with us.
They need at least one bat at the deadline. But just as quickly, number two is they are good enough that adding a bat is such a clear and obvious approach that the front office has no choice but to do it. This time, this season, with the rotation as strong as it is as clear of a buyer as I can remember covering.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. After skin cancers, prostate cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer among American men. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked even if you have no symptoms. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish CyberKnife. It's one of the shortest and most effective, requiring only 5 treatment sessions. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
Pacific Power Batteries understands batteries for golfers. Batteries for your car, your golf cart, and your Bags electric cart. We also sell good, used, 5-year-old E-Z-Go and Yamaha golf carts with a written satisfaction guarantee starting as low as $17.99. Located in Everett, Marysville, Mount Vernon, Bellingham, Monroe, and Wenatchee, you'll find our staff is well-trained in batteries and the latest charging technology. Pacific Power Batteries, with batteries for golfers.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's ultimate speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco-bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for Window Nation. If you haven't had a chance to take advantage of their semi-annual sale, you are in luck because they've extended it. Get 50% off all windows with no interest for 5 years and a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate now. If your old windows are costing you too much for AC, that's a big deal. And now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save big. This offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
What do thousands of students that rely on free school lunches do during the summer? It's G. Scott here. Sunbucks is a SNAP program that provides free, healthy food when school is out. If you could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility for $120 of free food per child. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to match their produce purchases as well as shop online. Learn more at hungerfreewashington.org/summer EBT.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450E has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings up to $17,000 lease cash on every RZ450E. Visit lexusofbellevue.com.
On approval of credit through LFS. Lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by July 1st, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
At State Roofing, we don't just install roofs, we build peace of mind. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing, and we stand firmly behind our work, protecting your investment for years to come. Backed by warranties that offer you protection, reliability, and trust long after the project. Take advantage of our zero down, zero payments, and zero interest today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com for a free estimate.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, brought to you by Cookies Country Chicken. The Mac and Jack's text line number, 866-979-3776. Send any question. I got to be honest, this one was actually a question sent earlier in the show, but I couldn't use it during the segment, so I threw it into What I Need to Know. What I need to know. How can a new coaching staff improve tackling with most of the same players coming back? I mean, these guys should have already been coached on tackling for years and years.
When I was in middle school, I did algebra, and my algebra teacher was garbage. Switched classes, got an A in algebra. It's the teaching. It's the teaching.
I really do think you can also always have something refined. And we've seen players have amazing seasons or tap into something even later in their career. So this doesn't even count the guys that are like a Boye Mafe still in a rookie contract who can, tighten things up with his game. I'm talking about Jadeveon Clowney on stint number 5, year 9 or whatever it is. Let's see. What I need to know. What's your favorite cheese? We got lots of random questions on here. 866-979-3776.
I like some sharp, but I had some Gouda yesterday. It was pretty bomb.
Let's see. What I need to know. The Mariners need to do a trade package for Roberts and Kopech from the White Sox. What would it cost to get the deal done? That I don't know, but Roberts is going to be expensive.
Bunch of 18, 19-year-olds, 20, the farm.
The farm. What do you make of, someone texted in earlier just disagreeing with you in general. They were like, selling the farm doesn't guarantee a World Series.
Yeah, and not selling it doesn't guarantee a World Series either. It's different approaches. Same golf course, same hole, different drive, different approach shot, different putt. Y'all trying to get to the same destination, different ways to do it. I'm with the farm, that person isn't.
Let's see. Someone just said, I'm a delivery driver. Every time I get out of the van, the Mariners score. Good luck, I guess. Also, go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
I need questions. 866-979-3776. My kids just found a blank VHS tape while cleaning their room. Neither was alive when VHS was common. It makes me wonder the last time you or anyone watched VHS or listened to a cassette tape.
It's funny you say that because last night I'm watching some reels, and the Sears catalog from 1994 pops up. I tell my kids, gather around, kids. History lesson here. And a VCR popped up. I go, what is that? And they go, I don't know. Is that a DVD player? And they some answers were just foolish, and I told them to shut their mouths and stop saying these dumb things, okay, kids? It's a VHS play, and they're like, what is that? And I had to really go to YouTube, show them the VHS is crazy. When's the last time I used one? Last time I watched my high school highlight tape.
Yesterday. I don't remember last time I used one. It would have been when they were still in fashion. So I would have been a kid.
Probably like 2003.
Yeah. You know what? No, probably when Titanic came out on VHS.
Yeah,
it
the
was
double
2 VHS tapes.
yeah.
That's probably one of the last VHS tapes that I regularly watched.
Mine was probably Michael Jordan Come Fly With Me, Michael Jordan Air Up There. He had like a trilogy of VHS.
Just highlights, yeah.
Wow, when you said Michael Jordan Come Fly With Me, I thought, come fly with me. And
Frank Sinatra?
Michael Jordan has some kind of Frank
away.
Sinatra cover album. What does VHS stand for? I couldn't tell you. Video home system. Video.
Yeah.
I know. I really think that might be something like it. What I need to know.
Video home system.
Yeah.
Boom.
Would Josh Bell interest you as a trade target? I want to get him more than Alonso and Robert combined. I don't know.
Josh Bell has not had a great season this year.
Yeah.
OPS under 700. Last year, he had 22 home runs between Cleveland and Miami. This year, Miami's kind of struggling. So, I mean, theoretically, you wouldn't have to give up a ton for him, but I think you could do better.
What I need to know, why are parking lots always the wild, wild west? I hate parking lots so much.
Because people aren't nice to each other and don't respect the rules. Blinker is on, that person is parking there. If I'm stalking you, give me the hands up and let me know if you're leaving or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just little courtesy things you could do. It's lost in the parking lot.
Oh, you know what really makes two things? When people double park or just like are not in any way considerate of like part of their car being over the line.
Mm-hmm.
You're ruining a parking spot for someone else.
Yeah.
And two, when people leave carts in parking spots.
Yeah, I can't
It
stand
is
that.
so rude. It is the easiest thing on the planet to wheel a grocery shopping cart back to its home.
Mhm.
Either to the front of the store, you know, they have the little aisle things. It's the easiest thing. Don't be lazy. Shame on you.
I don't like it when big trucks park close and take up two spots. Like, park further out in the lot.
Yeah. Just walk a little further,
you
bro.
You must.
This is the life you signed up for. What I need to know from Jerica. Why does Mitch 2, a.k.a. Mitch Garver, have terrible WAR in years that end with even numbers and good WAR during years that end in odd numbers? I hadn't noticed
Wow.
I hadn't noticed that either.
Jerica's in deep.
Well, you tell me.
She's pinning.
Yeah. Why is it when you have a waxing gibbous moon?
Yeah.
Mitch Garver.
Why is it Mitch Garver, triple Leo, Virgo rising? Let's see. I found my CD collection in the huge binder from a late 90s, early 2000s. How many CDs would be in your collection? What artists would be in there?
CDs, I was the burn CD master. Spring 04, summer 07.
Oh, you didn't come up with like driving mix?
Nah, I kept it pretty simple.
Did you ever make someone a CD?
Nah, but this one dude made my wife a CD when we were engaged, and I go, play that. First song was like, I can build you a mansion somewhere in Wisconsin. Oh, he's just my friend. And then another one pops up, and I go, he's 2 for 2.
It's like, you say I'm just a friend. She's like, what are you talking about? We're just friends.
You should let me love you.
Each song, subsequent song is like begging him to love her. Like, please choose me.
It was crazy.
She's like, these are just songs we happen to like. I'm the one for you. Let's see what I need to know. What's a road stadium you'd like to see the Mariners play in? I'm going to take it as you would like to go see the Mariners play in.
Go see him play. Let's go. Let's go to. You went.
I went to Fenway.
I went. That's where I want to go. I would go to Fenway.
It was cool. It was a very cool experience, and it feels old. Like everything about being there, it feels old-timey.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what I need to know. People are just texting in like CDs that they remember. What's going on here, guys? What's the best side dish at any restaurant?
Mac and cheese.
Side dish?
Mac or fries.
Fries.
Mac and fries.
Yeah,
Mac and cheese is hitting.
Yeah, I always love fries with someone. With something. Will Pete Carroll raise the 12th flag this year?
Nah, give it a few.
Yeah, I think you gotta
give
wait
it a
on
few.
that one. All right, that was what I need to know, and that was Bump and Stacy. We aren't going anywhere, though. Mariners assistant GM Andy McKay joins us next to kick off the dugout.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike three.
With Jeff Passan, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
I don't think that it is unrealistic to believe that they have the talent and the ability to win a championship with this team.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Their DNA remains intact. This is a rotation-dependent team.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a Colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Do you have a musty, damp, or wet basement? As the soil around your home becomes saturated, pressure pushes water through the tiniest of cracks and joints in your walls and floor. Moisture and water can not only damage your basement with mold and musty odors, it can also impact the health of your family. Matt Vey can install a custom-designed waterproofing system, transforming your basement into dry, healthy, usable space.
Do it the right way, the Matt Vey way. Rock built, rock solid.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hey, don't miss the Harnish Auto Family Road Trip Sales event going on now. Test drive any vehicle and enter for your chance to win a $500 road trip package. Go to harnishautofamily.com to find a dealership near you. Harnish Auto Family. People matter. See dealership for details.
Mike Salk here for RiversideRoofingLLC.com, where you can enter your address and receive a hassle-free quick quote on your roof replacement within seconds. Do it this spring and save time, money, and get your project done at RiversideRoofingLLC.com, the roofing company you can trust.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar Wednesday, June 26th to explain stem cell therapy.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him Wednesday, June 26th for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
We've got a Mariners roster move this morning. Ty France is back with the team after being placed on the 10-day IL to nurse a right heel fracture. In a corresponding move, Sebi Zavala has been designated for assignment. Phase 1 of All-Star voting hasn't concluded yet, but Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper are leading vote-getters in the AL and NL, respectively. No Mariners in the top 5 of vote-getters at any position. The Mariners are back on the road, opening a series against the Cleveland Guardians. It's Bryce Miller against Tristan McKenzie. First pitch at 3:40 p.m., pregame show at 2:30.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is The Dugout. Every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy. Inside access to the clubhouse from Shannon Dre on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
All right, joining us now live from MLB's Combine, it's Mariners assistant GM Andy McKay. Andy, how's it going?
Great, Stacey. Thanks for having me on.
I'm sure you are taking in plenty of the sites. You can only tell us limited things, of course, about, what this team likes or what they're planning or who you're watching. But just tell me about just the general atmosphere out there.
Well, MLB has put this combine together, and obviously football's had one for a long time. And, there's hundreds of the top players in the country, both high school and college players. That are here, and they kind of have a week of on-field activities and medical assessments. And my main role here is to meet with each of the players and do a bit of an interview process with them. So that'll go on all week through Saturday.
Hey, Andy, I'm no baseball scout, but I train a kid, Adam Hates. You got eyes on him. Take a look at that kid from Cedar Park Christian. He's a shortstop. Blonde-head kid, hard to miss, man. So when you draft a number 1 overall and he wins your World Series, man, I'll just
we'll give you all of the credit. We'll give you all of the credit.
You're like, 10 years ago, Michael Bumpus.
Yeah.
But serious question. What is it like? I'm always interested in the evolution of the athlete. I talk about football often, basketball. How have baseball players changed over the last 10 years, whether it be mental or physical?
Wow, that is a tough question. I think there's maybe some ways they've changed, but I think maybe more importantly, how they've stayed the same. The game, as much as people say the game has changed so much, it's still kind of driven by the same basic fundamentals that the game has always been driven by. But obviously with the advancements in technology and data, they can be tremendous teaching tools for us. And we're able to project somebody's career path maybe a little bit better than we were before because we have more information. And so we can compare, a player in, say, Modesto to a player in Seattle on a lot of, as we would say, kind of behind the curtain type of metrics, such as an exit velocity, an average exit velocity of how hard they're hitting the baseball, things that we used to use our eyes for. And that worked to some extent. But now we're able to realize just how good a player actually is at the lower levels. And that can guide our decision-making a bit, and it can also guide our development plans a little bit. And you're probably seeing it more so on the mound than anywhere else. And I think that's a big part of what you're seeing with how pitching has dominated the game in many ways in recent years.
You've got a pair of first-round picks for this organization that are looking absolutely phenomenal right now. Of course, these are by now big leaguers, right? Logan and George. And we've seen Emerson up here helping out, and that's great. You've got a lot of young bats in this system, though. You guys have been able to kind of stack those up. And it's awesome to see because for the longest time, the narrative has been, God, these arms are amazing. The bats just kept getting injured, right? I mean, you had guys that, for one reason or another just didn't quite work out. How excited are you to start seeing some of these young guys come up, whether it's Cole, whether it's Colt, maybe it's Harry Ford, some of these young guys, kind of start to balance things out?
Yeah, we're thrilled. And going back to what you brought up earlier, the Kyle Lewis and the Evan White, just thinking about those guys recently, and hopefully there's still baseball ahead for them. But, I can't think of two players that were as accomplished as they were that went through what they've gone through from a medical standpoint.
Yeah.
And that's always part of the deal when you're talking about being a professional athlete. But obviously we have we've stacked up a lot of offensive players that are in our Dominican Academy. They're in Arizona. They're in Modesto, where that team just clinched the first half playoff spot, and then even going up into Arkansas with Harry and Cole and Lockley are starting the season in Double-A. So we are excited about our position players, and we've drafted well in that area over the past few years, and it's showing up right now.
Hey, we're used to seeing players come from Central America, South America, some spots. What's the game looking like in Europe? Ryan Rowland-Smith just came over from the special they had over there in England, and he said the English loved him some baseball. Is that reflected in the talent they're putting out?
I don't know. I don't think I'm prepared to actually answer that question. I've been to the Netherlands to present at a coaches conference there, and I do know that they are really well organized and trying to create training models that kind of mirror their soccer development programs. But in terms of where that currently sits in terms of the talent, I don't know. I don't think there's any of the 30 teams that are putting a lot of resources into scouting Europe as of right now. But hopefully that would change, and that'd be a great thing for the game.
Hey, I'm curious as to how tough it is to kind of spread the net and look for talent and do scouting and do digging when talent in baseball in particular can come from anywhere, right? Like, Andy, when you look at NFL drafts, you got Bama, you got Clemson, you're looking at Georgia. Like, there's always these top schools, particularly SEC programs or Ohio States, where you already know, like, you're going to have someone on your roster from one of these schools. Is it just me, or does it feel like the talent in baseball is a little more spread out? Like, you've got, for instance, if I look at your guys' first-round picks going back to 2016, there's not a single repeat. Probably because you got some high schoolers in there, of course. But, I mean, it feels like you kind of got to cast a really wide net when you're doing your research.
You do, and you also have the different buckets of players from, the high schools to the Division I, Division II, junior college. Those are different buckets. The international players, coming out of various countries in South America. So those things they do make it harder in some ways, but, we have ample resources going out. But I think the challenge is when you put it all together into a draft board, into a draft room, and how do you compare a 3-year starting shortstop at Vanderbilt to a high school pitcher from Illinois, versus a high-end, high-profile, Southern California position player. And how do you turn these apples and oranges into apples so that you can understand how to value one compared to the other? And that gets really hard. And our scouting group has done a tremendous job of doing that in recent years, and our drafts and how those players have performed, I think, are evidence of that.
Hey, Andy, we know this team has one of the best rotations in the game, and baseball is full of data, but is there something that maybe the common fan doesn't recognize or see that you really appreciate the most about this team this year?
Absolutely. And getting to see that evolution of how those players, how we acquired them, Logan from his first year, where he showed up in Everett and sent home, with mono. And between, Brian Woo's unique development of how much time he missed in college, to you have this reliever that's kind of throwing 1.5 pitches in Bryce Miller. And then you've got George from Elon who, goes a calendar year without walking anybody. Just 4 very unique people, very unique paths. And just really appreciating each of those people for who they are. And for me, the most impressive thing about those 4 young starters is that they're the same person today that they were when we signed them years ago. And not in terms of they're the exact same person, I should have said it that way, but the core of who they are, they haven't changed. Really good people, really good competitors that have stayed very grounded to who they are. And I really appreciate that about them.
Another unique path, obviously, going, from high school into the minors. You guys have drafted in the first round 5 straight high schoolers. Is there anything out of that philosophy?
No, you're always trying to take the best available player for the most part. And that's been something that we've stuck to, and they just have happened to be college position players recently. And we're thrilled because they've all more than shown that they deserve to be picked where they were picked. But no, there's no overarching philosophy as to why, those college pitchers suddenly became high school position players.
A few years ago, you guys made some moves to acquire Castillo, and everyone's talking about, the farm system is down a bit. But a few years later, it seems like it's back up. I don't know how much you can tell us, but what is so special about your scouting department and why they've been able to have success when it comes to getting talent back down in the minors?
Yeah, I think just like any other group, it always comes down to these what we call the soft skills. That, as we know, soft skills are incredibly hard between human beings, and our ability to communicate, which again, as an adult, we all know that's really hard, and it gets very challenging between groups of people. Our group communicates very well. Our group has very clear understanding of what we value in players and what we're looking for. So we're going out looking for pretty specific things. We have a defined process that we don't let our emotions pull us off of very easily. But I would say more than anything is we can put a group of people in a room who communicate honestly, authentically. They know how to disagree with each other. They know how to stand up and voice their opinions, and they know that they're safe to do so, and that our room really respects each other. And we're not really trying to be right. We're trying to get it right. And that has shown up in our room over and over again. And Scott Hunter, as our scouting director, deserves so much credit for the leadership and the culture he's created within that scouting group.
Well, you got a pair of arms from 2018 and 19 making up one of the best rotations in baseball, and you got a couple other guys here that are making up one of the best farm systems. So we'd say you guys are knocking it out of the park. He is Mariners assistant GM Andy McKay, kind enough to join us from the Combine. Thanks so much, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, taking a look around MLB coming up next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is the one, the only John Morosi with us.
They need at least 1 bat at the deadline. But just as quickly, number 2 is they are good enough that adding a bat is such a clear and obvious approach that the front office has no choice but to do it. This time, this season, with the rotation as strong as it is as clear of a buyer as I can remember covering.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, we were all hoping for good news from the feds, but without any rate cut in sight, Americans are still paying crazy high rates on credit cards and other loans. Don't wait for things to get worse. If you're struggling, act now. Hey, this is Brock Ewart for my friends at Tila Mortgage. Contact Tila for information on their home equity line of credit, or HELOC. With a HELOC, you can consolidate high-interest bills into one lower, manageable payment while keeping your current low fixed-rate first mortgage. Tila's been helping Washingtonians consolidate debts for over 25 years, and they're experts at purchase and reverse mortgages, too. Take control of your finances and improve your monthly cash flow. Don't let debt payments control your life. Call Tila Mortgage today at 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-3536, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here, and I want to introduce you to something that was new to me and probably new to a lot of homeowners out there, a metal roof. Now, the first thing I thought of, is it loud when it rains? I had no idea a metal roof was even an option until my most recent meeting with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing. And like Anthony usually does, he carefully explained a metal roof does not make noise when it rains, and metal roofs have a lifespan of about 40 years, double the traditional roof. Metal roofs are more eco-friendly and can be made in any color to match your home. Anthony also told me he's seeing a huge push in the market for metal roofing, and Asset Roofing is meeting the demand. They create each metal roof at their headquarters, custom to each job. That allows them to offer metal roofs with up to a 30% discount over their competitors. Reach out to Asset Roofing about a metal roof for your home. AssetRoofingCo.com. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Taking a look around MLB, we are going to start in New York. Garrett Cole was activated this weekend for the Yanks. They already have the top two vote getters on the All-Star ballot, Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. So the best team ERA in baseball is getting their best starter back. Cole's expected to make his first start of the season Wednesday night against the Orioles.
Oh, good. The rich get richer.
Great.
The good get gooder. I mean, we knew this was going to happen eventually. That's why when you played against the Yankees earlier in the season, you were just hoping that you would get a split. You got a split there. And, I mean, you know, it is what it is, man. Yankees are good this year. Offense is going. The arms are great. They just got better. Hold on tight, man. Here it comes.
I know. It's kind of a bummer to see a team just continue to absolutely dominate. But at that point, it's like, good for you. Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Best team doesn't always win the World Series. If you do, it sounds weird to say, but I guess you earned it.
Yeah.
Mariners still obviously in this thing. Jose Ramirez has been activated off the paternity list. Cleveland sent down former Coug Kyle Manzardo. So Jose Ramirez back for Curtis. Does that mean he's back for this series? Or
yeah,
that
he's
still going to
today.
miss two? Okay, so he's back today for this
It came at
series.
the expense of a coup, Bob.
Oh.
So you hate Cleveland now.
Just a double sword.
I've already didn't have a soft spot for Cleveland. Went there. The smell is weird in Cleveland. I don't know what it is. You know how you got
It's
the
like Tacoma?
Tacoma aroma. You know, the Cleveland got something going on over there. But yeah, it's all good, Coug. Enjoyed what you did. And Ramirez, I was hoping we get at least one game without him out there. But it is what it is. And honestly, man, forget it. It's a challenge. Let's see what we can do when they got their best lineup, because like we mentioned earlier in the show, These teams are comparable in a lot of ways.
Clear favorites have already emerged in the All-Star vote getters. Now, the first phase of balloting is not yet completed, but MLB did post the All-Star ballot updates so far. Yanks' Aaron Judge and Phillies' Bryce Harper are the leading vote-getters through the American League and National League, respectively, in that first update. But right behind Aaron Judge, his teammate Juan Soto. Now, this one's interesting. Cal Raleigh tied for third in home runs among all catchers. Nowhere near the top 5, not touching the top 5.
Yeah, it's interesting. Before the season started, he was outside the top 10 when it came to catchers in the league. And even now that he is amongst the best hitting catches when it comes to power, it's all good. This is Seattle. We're used to this, though. I mean, are you really surprised? No, I'm not surprised. And I hope this team uses this as motivation. We mentioned when we talked about the All-Star ballot voting earlier, it's a popularity contest, and ain't nothing real popular about Seattle right now other than the arms on the mound. I don't think anyone has been consistent enough when it comes to what they do in the batter's box to have the common fan kind of respect what you're doing. ESPN hardly puts the Mariners on SportsCenter, so why would we expect anybody to really know who Cal is and what he means to this team?
Yeah, I was fully expecting that there would be snubs. Now, if you expand it to top 10, you're going to start to see some Mariners. J.P. Crawford is 8th among all AL shortstops. That's ahead of Carlos Correa with the Twins. Meanwhile, you go to outfielders, and Julio is 10th. Just behind Mike Trout, Adolis Garcia, Colton Cowser, Alex Verdugo, Anthony Santander, Stephen Kwan, Kyle Tucker, and then obviously I mentioned Juan and Aaron are leading all vote getters there. So I'm not shocked by the results, and I kind of go back and forth between, we had fans earlier saying, oh, it's a popularity contest. It's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of that, because there are certainly names that pop up on some of these lists when you go, really? Like, I don't know that he's having an absolutely phenomenal season. But fans are familiar with the names. They've got really strong backings with those teams, so I guess keep voting.
Where's 509, man? They said it's a fan vote. Blame Seattle fans. So if you have not voted, you go out there and you rock the vote.
It's all your fault, everybody.
Oh, no.
You've gone and done it.
A roster move earlier this morning. The Mariners DFA'd Sebi Zavala. Meanwhile, Ty France back with the club. He's been activated off the 10-day IL.
Nice to see you, Ty Zavala. Appreciate your service. But we back, baby. Nice to see Ty France back. It was weird where he got hit to the back heel, right? Usually like the toe or something like that. But no, you took your time off. You got healthy. Now you're back. Locklear held it down for a little bit. We're in a good position. We're not losing much with Zavala. No disrespect to him, but he was just a guy in the dugout at some point.
What do you make of Locklear staying up with the 26-man roster? Because I think a lot of people kind of assumed once France was healthy, they'd send Locklear down to get everyday at-bats.
It means they like what they're seeing.
All right, from the College World Series, Tennessee pitcher Kirby Connell, lots of Kirbys apparently, wasn't too worried about turning in his homework late following the Vols' second straight win in Omaha.
I got to do homework. It's due in 56 minutes. But, good stuff, Kirby. Attaboy. Hey, thanks, Cal. I don't think I'll get it done, but I'll get it done eventually. But no, I think it's, just worry about our next thing, and, that's going to be practice, and, I think we're going to have a great practice.
I like the idea of, not too worried about it. How often did football get in the way for you of, when you had something really important? Did you, rush to get it done? Because you're smart, you're studious.
Depends on the professor. Some professors love you and will work with you. Other professors ain't rocking with you. So hopefully that young man's in a position where the professor's okay, or he has so many points in his class already, he goes, I can take, a -5 when it comes to turning my homework in on time. I'm good.
Someone said Mike Trout ahead of Julio right now in all-star balloting and center fielders. They said, when's the last time Mike Trout even played? That would be April 29th, if I'm reading this correctly.
Hey, sometimes it's just a legacy thing,
It really is. Someone said, I'm voting right now.
There we go. We got one vote. We got one.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, look, we did it.
We did it.
We did it.
Look at us.
Back to, I jumped ahead to the College World Series. I got one more injury update for you. This one about your Dodgers, though. And you already know it. Dodgers star Mookie Betts will miss the next 6 to 8 weeks with a hand fracture. I love Mookie Betts. And I'm okay loving the Dodgers, or rather loving certain players on the Dodgers, because it's not going to matter until a World Series if you face off against him.
Yeah, unfortunate for Mookie. We'll see if and when he comes back. They also lost Yamamoto, too, man. So, Dodgers, You pay for your depth. They got to show up now.
Yeah. All right, last one here. Home plate ump Manny Gonzalez missed not 1, not 2, not 3 calls, 27 calls last night in a game. It was a season high. There is no consequence for missing calls. There's not. You missed 27 calls?
It's hard to do, man. I can miss 27 easily. Sign me up.
Well, yeah.
I respect what they do behind that plate. It is difficult, but these are supposed to be the best of the best. What's acceptable? How many missed calls is acceptable, Curtis? What, like 5 to 8?
I mean, even then.
I would say once you get into the 80s with accuracy percentages, it starts to.
Even the low 90s.
In the low 90s, you feel that in a game. Like that is when it's bases loaded, 2 outs, your guy goes up, and it should be walking in a run, and it's not.
Well,
that's when you start to feel it.
The situation changes things. I mean, just like on average.
Yeah.
How many calls do these guys
So
miss?
I will add that this was a very close game. So at one point, it's 7-6. It's between the Giants and the Cubs. Cubs are up to bat. It's the bottom of the 9th. And you get missed calls in that moment. So that's a moment where you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You start getting a missed call, bottom of the 9th, with my club down 1 run.
Yeah. It's all situation.
That makes a difference.
You're 4-0 in the 5th inning, and, it's a bit different. But, yeah, I get it.
All right, you guys. Rick Rizzs joining us next. This is The Dugout.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Do not turn off a Mariner game. Just don't do it. And as frustrated as you may be through 5 or 6 innings, they could be no hit for 7 innings. Don't turn it off, because in the 8th and the 9th inning, there is just a sense of belief. And in that building now, over the last 23 games, 18-5. Something is brewing here in a belief system late in the games. Soto mojo. 2 outs, so what? Man, does it feel healthy right now.
Good on them for not giving up.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! And call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If your home has air conditioning, congratulations, because it looks like this summer is going to be a scorcher. But to make sure your AC system is working at its best, Deere Services is offering an inspection and tune-up with a no-breakdown guarantee and no service fee for just $49, a $129 value. Assure yourself of a comfortable, cool summer. Visit DEARservices.net, make an appointment, and we'll be there within 3 hours or give you a $100 credit. Deere Services, there when you need us most.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's ultimate speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Summer is here. If you're dealing with a pest problem, get the relief you need and the long-term protection you deserve with Issaquah Pest Control. Look, rodents and bugs can ruin your insulation or the structure of your home or business. Before it becomes a more costly issue, call Issaquah Pest Control, the fast, kind, and professional pest control service. And if you're in the pest control business or have an interest, they're hiring, so join the team. Issaquah Pest Control, serving the entire Puget Sound. IssaquahPest.com.
You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, Rick Rizzs, one of the voices of the Mariners. And Rick, this is a really, really fun team right now, coming off a sweep against a divisional foe, biggest division lead in all of baseball. How's that feel?
Stacy and Bump, it feels great. Here we are, well into the month of June, halfway into the month of June, and they're in first place. First time they've been in first place in June in 21 years. That's how good this season has been because of the starting pitching. So you got the first place Mariners tonight against the first place Cleveland Guardians on top of the Central. Mariners have a 9-game lead over both the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers in the American League West. They want to widen that gap as the season goes along. The rain has stopped, sun is out, so we've got what's going to turn out to be a nice night out for baseball here in Cleveland, Stace.
Hey, Riz, I look at these two teams on paper, and they seem pretty comparable. Like, it should be a fair fight today. How would you describe this matchup?
I think so, too. I mean, Cleveland has played well all season long. They have a really good offense. The key is, making sure that Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor don't drive in runs, which means you got to keep Steven Kwan off the bases. He's their leadoff guy, has been for years. He's batting .398. So that's what you have to do to beat the Cleveland Guardians. For the Mariners, their pitching, I think, is the best in the American League. So they have to go up against Bryce Miller tonight and the rest of the guys. Brian Wu is going to get the start tomorrow night. He was sensational in his first 6 starts of the year. He's been out for about the last 10 days or so. And then here we come with the Rock, Luis Castillo. So I think the Mariners are going to throw everything they have at these guys. The offense is getting better in the month of June, which is great to see, to catch up with that pitching. So I think it's going to be another really good series for the Mariners. They've been so consistent, Bump and Stacy, winning series after series after series. They've won, 14 of their last 18 series and coming off a sweep of the Texas Rangers. Consistent.
This is a team that's got one of the best records in the American League at home, which is amazing, right? Those are the games that we're actually going to. We're getting up. We're going out there. We'd love to see a win. But they've also got kind of weird splits on the road where the offense is relatively the same, and then the pitching is kind of struggled. You've watched these games so closely, obviously, having called them. Is there anything that stands out that might indicate why we're seeing sometimes some pitching struggles on the road?
Yeah, I think that, ever since we've been playing this game, the formula, Stacy, was always play 500 on the road, then win at home, because you got the home field advantage. And, man, the fans have been amazing, in the last homestand, the last series, averaging about 40,000 fans a game against the White Sox and also the Texas Rangers. It's just different on the road. You're not as comfortable with the batter's eye out there in straightaway center field. You just feel much better at home, being with your family and everything like that. I can't see anything that's different with, the offense or what they're doing, as far as swinging the bat on the road or pitching-wise. I know it's been a little bit of a struggle for Bryce Miller on the road, 0-3 with a high ERA. But overall, the kid has been great. He's going to get over the 500 mark tonight. So I can't put my finger on any one thing. It's just more difficult to win on the road because you're not familiar with your surroundings and you know where the clubhouse is and things like that. But, they're playing so well. The pitching is so good. I think they're going to win everywhere right now.
Ty France is back with the squad, and Tyler Locklear has found a way to hang out and still be part of the squad. What have you seen out of him? Why do you think they decided to keep him up?
I tell you what, he's an athlete. He did a great job in the absence of Ty France. He deserves to come back and take over at first base. The guy was an all-star a few years ago. But Tyler Locklear was very, very good the short time he's been with the ball club. And he's not gone. He's going to still stick around. Somehow Scott is visiting with the media right now at 4:30 Eastern time here. I'm sure he's going to, outline his role coming up here in the next few days, in the next few weeks. But, when he hit the ball hard. He had a home run the other day, his second home run in the big leagues. He's played great defense over at first base. A couple of days ago, he makes a great play for the final out of the game and a ball hit by Corey Seager. They had a big comeback with 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning. If Tyler doesn't make that play, who knows what's happened. They would have tied up the game there in the 9th inning. But they just have to find a way to, number one, get him in there enough, maybe DH, give Ty a breather here and there, or possibly go back down to AAA Tacoma and get in the at-bats, and then I'm sure he's going to be back because, man, this young man made quite an impression the short time he was here. And you know what? Like you said, he's still here, so he's going to be used off the bench as well.
There are few power rankings that have the Mariners top 5, though most have them right now top 10. However, one of them is Bleacher Report, who has the Mariners at 5 ahead of the Brewers and Guardians. Brewers and Guardians are ahead of the Mariners on MLB Network's power rankings. Can you see the case for the Mariners at number 5 for power rankings?
Yeah, because the offense is getting much better. It wasn't there the first few months of the season, Stace, but in the month of June, the Mariners are 11-4. They've outscored their opponents 72-47. They're averaging almost 5 runs a game, 4.8 runs a game. So, coupled with the starting staff, and these guys are going 6 innings, 7 innings. In the case of Logan Gilbert a couple of days ago, 8 innings, 8 scoreless innings. That 5 runs is huge, and they're giving up just over 3 runs a game. So, yeah, I can see where they're up there in the power rankings. Now, the Yankees are just off the charts because Aaron Judge is doing Ruthian-type things over in New York, leading that ball club now, and batting average and driving in runs and home runs and Soto and things like that. But, yeah, I can see this ball club moving up because this offense is nowhere near what I think it's going to be in the next few weeks. And because I think, Julio's going to get hot. And he's going to stay hot. He's going to carry this ball club. The home runs are coming. He's hitting the ball hard. He needs to get the ball up in the air a little bit more, which he's starting to do. The last 22 games, he's hitting over 300 with 5 home runs. So he hasn't come close to what, we know that Julio can do and lead this ball club. And J.P. Crawford in the leadoff spot, too, is going to get hot again. Oops, the rain's coming down again here in Cleveland. Doggone it.
Live updates from Rick Rizzs.
The grounds crew just took the tarp off the field and I opened up the window. Yeah, so now it's coming down again. But we're going to play tonight. But, yeah, I sure like what I've seen, guys.
Hey, Riz, we've been talking about just how important service has been to this season and this whole situation. And Linus, like, where does he shine the most, or where has he shined the most this year?
Number one, getting to know his players. And it starts day one at spring training every day when they have that morning meeting long before they go out on the field down there in Peoria, Arizona. He gets a guy or two up to interview them, to talk about their not only the good things that have happened in life, but their trials and tribulations, and they get to know one another in that respect. So they have this family atmosphere in the clubhouse with 65 guys at spring training, because you're going to need these guys during the course of the season. Here comes Tyler Locklear, and he comes up. The guys make him feel like a part of the organization, a part of the team right away because of what they did down at spring training. Then they go down to the minor leagues. They play well to deserve to come up. But that's number one that I see. And number two, the way that he and Pete Woodworth and Trent Blank have handled the pitching staff. The starters have been great, which makes it even better for the guys down to the bullpen, because when they wake up in the morning, especially Taylor Saucedo, he knows he's going to face Corey Seager that night. And that sets up the rest of the bullpen. The bullpen has been juggled with personnel down there because of injuries, missing Matt Brash all season long, missing Gregory Santos for the entire year, and hopefully, not the entire year, but until this time, hopefully we're going to get him back, or the Mariners will get him back sometime in July. Stanek has been a huge addition, trying to get the ball over to Munoz. But Scott has done an amazing job with the bullpen, along with Pete Woodworth. And I think that I've said it a million times on the air, he should have been American League Manager of the Year at least once or twice over the last 3 seasons. Getting this club to the playoffs 2 years ago for the first time in 21 years. What he's doing with the club right now, nobody expected the Mariners to be in first place, but they did at the start of the year. Even when the offense was struggling, the pitching was so good. So I can't say enough good things about Scott Service in the way that he has managed his team. He's been amazing, along with Jerry DePoto, working with Jerry.
Everyone was rooting for Ryan Bliss when he got called up to get that first hit. Luke Raley's drawn a lot of fans in the last couple weeks here. Who have you just really had a lot of fun watching so far this season?
A lot of fun watching the kid you just mentioned, Ryan Bliss.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's got a smile on his face, Stacy. Every time he comes to the ballpark, he's so happy to be in the big leagues. Hit his first home run in the big leagues in Kansas City. It was a long home run to left field. You take a look at his numbers in the minor leagues. He had well over 300 last year with, I think, 23 or 24 home runs and drove in a lot of runs and stole about 58 bases. So there's some power in that little body. I mean, that bat speed must be tremendous, and he can steal a base. He changes the complexion of a ball game, with his speed. But he also has played great defense at second base. In the recent series against the White Sox, he made 2 plays on the other side of second base and threw the runner out at first. So that kid has been a lot of fun to watch. It's great to see the turnaround of guys. Luke Raley got off to a really slow start. Now he's been one of the best bats on this team. And the surprising thing about Luke, he's the best bunter on the ball club besides Ryan Bliss. He had a bunt base hit in the comeback first game of the homestand against the White Sox. They're down 4-0. They get runners aboard in the bottom of the 8th inning. He lays down a bunt base hit with 2 outs on a fastball that's coming way up and in. He gets it down. Mariners score a run to tie the game at 4, and then Cal walks it off in the bottom of the 9th inning with the grand slam. So it's been just a lot of fun watching this team. The way they perform, the way they're winning so many close games because they don't give up many runs. They haven't scored a whole ton of runs as of yet, so that makes a perfect storm for a lot of one-run decisions, and they're very good at that. The Mariners are 17-7 in one-run decisions this year.
And he is Mariners play-by-play man Rick Rizzs, kind enough to join us for the Dugout. Thanks, Rizzs.
Thanks, Rizzs.
Stacy, bump anytime. Thank you.
See ya. You are listening to the Dugout, learning more about this team with Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Your pitching will keep you in any game for the most part. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal rotation that you desperately need to take advantage of while it's here, while they're together. We've got 4 of the 5 who are in baseball dollars very cheap and very young right now. And you're only going to have that group together for so long. You're also in a year where the AL West is really down.
Probably more importantly, don't you think?
Yeah, the division is there for you to take.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS has raised the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes in recent years. This hits hard if you're behind on your taxes. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. If you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Free is key during Craftsman Days at Lowe's.
Right now, get one free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of a V20 drill or impact driver kit for $69. Don't miss your chance to save on the high-quality, high-performance tools you need during Craftsman Days. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 6/19 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Mike Salk here for RiversideRoofingLLC.com, where you can enter your address and receive a hassle-free quick quote on your roof replacement within seconds. Do it this spring and save time, money, and get your project done at RiversideRoofingLLC.com, the roofing company you can trust.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, nasal congestion, or stuffiness? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine-Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that can significantly reduce your symptoms. This long-lasting treatment is available here in my office. In a clinical study, 88% of Rhine-Air patients experience a significant reduction in their symptoms. We're proud the Stern Sinus Center was recently named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
We are Seattle Sports. 7:10 a.m. on your radio. Streaming through the Seattle Sports app. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily. You're listening to The Dugout every Tuesday at 1 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Welcome back to The Dugout. Me, Michael Bumpus, I'm here with you. Stacy had to dip up out of here, so Curtis Rogers is closing us out, something like Munoz does, you know what I'm saying? And now we're joined by Mariners insider Shannon Drayer on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Shannon, how we doing today?
We're doing okay. It's a little warm back in this part of the country.
A little humid?
Little humid, like 100% right now.
Oh, no. Ooh, good luck. You got to have one of those personal fans on you at all times over there.
I brought one.
There we go.
Never had one before, saw the forecast. I'm getting a fan.
There we go. We adjust. That's what we do.
Yes.
Shannon, I'm looking forward to this one. I think, obviously, the M's took care of business against the Rangers, and then this is like a payback series for me. I don't like the way it ended the first time we saw the Cleveland Guardians. What are you expecting out of this one?
Well, I mean, they're legit. There's been a flip-flop of the divisions. The West is the down division this year, and I think that's evidenced by what we saw from Texas, which honestly was kind of shocking. It doesn't mean things aren't going to turn around for some teams, and the second half might look different from the first half, but the Central is playing better baseball right now, and Cleveland has been getting it done with pitching. And, you know, you've got one of the best hitters on the planet in Ramirez. The Naylor brothers are fantastic. So these teams, when they play each other, they are typically pretty well matched or evenly matched. So it'll be interesting to see where that is, now that you're seeing them for a second time. And interesting to get the test that you didn't get over the last 3 games against the Rangers. And then all important are those records. We talk about the division, but if you want to look further ahead, you want to get that second best record in the American League, which would get you a bye in the postseason. That's looking way far ahead, but this is the team that holds that spot right now. You got 3 games to take a little bit of a dent out of the lead that they have. So an important series, certainly in that regard.
I don't mind you looking way far ahead, Shannon. I will allow it.
Can't believe I just did that. That wasn't me. That was somebody else.
It's the humidity. It's gotten to you, Shannon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shannon, big move made by the Mariners today in that they reinstated Ty France off the 10-day injured list and then DFA'd Seby Zavala, which then kind of creates all sorts of different roster possibilities. It basically puts Mitch Garver as your backup catcher now. Tyler Locklear is remaining on the roster, which I think caught a few people by surprise. What was sort of the most interesting outcome of that roster move today to you?
Well, unfortunately, Scott Service was supposed to speak a half hour ago or 15 minutes ago, and he was late because I did want to hear how he's going to handle the roster. And because I'm talking to you, I'm missing that. So I'm blaming you personally, Curtis, for this. So we'll be filled in on that in the next 15 minutes and learn a little bit more. But if you have Locklear on this roster, you need to play him some. You don't have to play him every day. And so I'm really interested to see how much and how they make that work. This is a little bit more difficult than if he was, one of your middle infielders or outfielders. You don't have as much flexibility with him as you have in other instances. And so you're basically limited to what you do with DH and a little bit with DH and first base. So somehow you're going to have to come up with enough at-bats for him. Garver, I expect, we'll hear the plan about that from the skipper. I did talk to Mitch Garver about that a little bit, and he said, I'll let the skipper tell you guys about it, but he's more comfortable behind the plate. And he actually, he laughed, and he said, I think I'm actually catching better. I'm paying more attention to what I'm doing. He saw some things, when he wasn't catching and watching a little bit more, and he said that, he's definitely very invested in what he's doing back there, and perhaps he didn't say this, but he said that's all he's thinking about, not the hitting. And what do you know? The hitting's gotten better since he started catching a little bit too. So that's an interesting move right there. But I wouldn't expect him to catch more than 1 day a week for a little bit. Maybe he'll get up to 2 days a week. But, when he was doing that, then Cal was in the DH spot. You've somehow got to find a way to make all of this work. Ty France is off the IL. He is in the lineup today. He's your starting first baseman. You're going to see that quite a bit. But again, you got to find a way to get Tyler Locklear in there a fair amount of games if he is on this roster. So I don't know how they do it. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Shannon, obviously, Jose Ramirez, he's back from paternity leave. I thought we would get one game without him, but he's here. But this roster is deeper than just him. Tell me about a couple guys that people should look for today.
Well, the Nailers are both very good. I remember in the offseason there were some rumblings that perhaps Josh Naylor could have been traded, and he's a bat that I have always liked. He gives you the good at-bats, has the pop, can drive in runs. He's batting cleanup for them. You really like what you see from him. Will Brennan in right field has been doing things, driving in some runs as well. It's kind of up and down the lineup where they kind of put up the consistent at-bats. And, of course, Stephen Kwan at the top doing Stephen Kwan things. He hasn't been up as long. He's had some injury issues this year, but he obviously hits for average, gets on base, and every now and then can hit one out. So it can be a tough lineup to maneuver through. They also are able to run out a lot of lefties. You take a look at the lineup today, and Bryce Miller is not going to face he's going to face one righty in this lineup. One righty.
Jeez.
So that can tell you, and that's because there are two switch hitters and one righty. So they are heavily left, but that can be tough on right-handed pitchers. So that'll be a good test for Miller, who I'm encouraged about. He had a little bit of extra time. I don't think we can say enough for what Emerson Hancock did for this team and coming and making that start and allowing the Mariners to reset the rotation a little bit and get everybody a minimum of 1 day off. Those who are starting now had 2 days off because of the off day today. And I think Bryce Miller, that greatly benefits both physically and mentally, and gives him the chance to, kind of explore some more things that he needs to figure out. And that's just him because, how you have tinkerers at the plate with hitters. He's kind of like that on the pitching side. It's not that he's changing his pitches, but he's changing his approach, how he uses them. He is constantly thinking about that. So he really goes to work on that end. He's had the extra day for that. So I think that is something that really helps him. And none of that happens without, being able to go down to the minors and get Emerson Hancock and get Diaz before that too when they needed to. So the depth has been great. But this will be a tough lineup for Bryce today, although he has fared pretty well against righties. He's just got to protect from the big inning, the one bad pitch, the one, home run that seems to get him.
Shannon, familiar face in that Guardians dugout. That's manager Stephen Vogt, who was the Mariners bullpen coach last season. Any reunions you've seen? Any hugs exchanged? What have you made of his first go-around as a manager in the bigs? It's off to a smashing success.
You would need an umbrella or a raincoat for that to happen. And the tarp is now coming off of the field. So, and this is this is the second time it's come off the field. I'm not going to be fooled this time. No, I think this is it. I do see it looks like blue skies behind the ballpark right now. There was definitely in the first series a lot of that. And, he and Scott Service are still pretty close. I know that they talked a little bit in spring training. And, I think that there was a little bit of mentoring going on there. It was a crash course for Stephen Vogt. You don't usually see somebody who goes from, player to manager with just 1 year in between there, but he was somebody that had really kind of been labeled as somebody who could possibly do that. And the Mariners happened to be the stop. He lived nearby. He lived in Olympia, so that made sense. But, he knows this organization and the Mariners know him. So it always kind of makes for an interesting matchup.
Shannon, who has the biggest coaching tree in MLB?
Oh, I have no idea.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is one that I would have to. That's not one that I've really. Who's got a really great coaching tree, and I'm not going to come up with the names. Andy McKay.
Okay.
And
we spoke to him earlier in the hour.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How is Andy? We have not seen him in months. He's out on the recruiting trail. It was like a recruit. They go about the draft like a football recruiting trip.
Well,
he's the one who's.
That's where he was at. He was at the combine.
So confusing. That makes me happy. He is just, of course, he was a farm director. And now he is an assistant general manager. And over the last 2 years, he has gotten even more involved with the draft. And he goes in and he meets with these, some of them are literally kids in high school and others in college. And I think that is a valuable piece of what the Mariners are doing right now, him actually having those interactions and getting to know these players that they are deciding on and, kind of banking a lot of the future on. But he has a pretty extensive coaching tree from when he coached at the college, the small college in California, but also when he coached in the Northwoods Leagues, the Summer Wood Bat League. There's so many players, and a lot of them are in the Mariners organization. But when you look at the tree that's there, it was either Scott Service's son played for him. And so that's how Scott got to know him a little bit. Pete Woodworth played for him. Chris Sale played for him. There are others, I believe Jared DeHart had a connection with Andy McKay, too. So he's got kind of an interesting one that I keep meaning to do a story on it. There are a lot of names in coaches that he has influenced, and that actually is kind of the first thing that comes to mind right there when you say that.
There you go. She is our Mariners insider, Shannon Dreyer. Shannon, we appreciate you. Stay dry, stay cool, stay all of that, man. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Shannon.
I'll do my best. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was the Dugout. Every Tuesday, 1 to 2 coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We got Mariners baseball. Bryce Miller on the mound.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is the one, the only John Morosi with us.
They need at least one bat at the deadline. But just as quickly, number two is they are good enough that adding a bat is such a clear and obvious approach that the front office has no choice but to do it. This time, this season, with the rotation as strong as it is as clear of a buyer as I can remember covering.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3